Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream, and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy, edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello, how are you guys? Oh my gosh, I'm such a noob sometimes. Let me take down the brightness here. Look at all of you here, all bright and shiny. Why isn't this coming up? Oh, okay. What's Barbara doing? What's she giving out for free? Is she weeding gardens or what's going on? I'm just adjusting the brightness. Ugh. I feel like I was all ready, and now I'm feeling not ready. Here we go. Let me see who's here. How's it going, Barbara? Defrosting your big freezer today? Oh, that's a good time to do it before it gets cold. You're lurking here, Kira? No problem. I saw you wanted to watch football today. Thanks for being here. Hey, Margaret. Hey, Terry. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Beverly. Jessica, thanks for the nice comment today on that video the other day, from the other day. Hey, Libby. Hey, Justine. How are you? All right. I think that's everybody in the romper room. I feel like that's just such a dated thing to say. Oh, this is when I have a tiny bit of OCD. I don't like, there's like a little sliver of black here showing, and then there was a little sliver of black here showing. You know? All right. Happy Saturday. Binding! We love binding. I was starting to sew it together and my needle came unthreaded because I think I bonked it, but I'm just gonna sew it all together, and I'm kind of toying, like I think I'll do one garment at a time. The production sewer in me wants to do what I can, then bind what I can on everything, you know what I mean? And then, you know, make it as efficient as possible. But truth be told, the binding attachment is really not hard to put on and off, you know? Okay, so Terry, you said you got the exact same iron as me, so that's great because I brought the directions home on how to install it and all that. I didn't, should I have gotten the stand to hold the bottle? I thought I had it in the car, but I didn't. Okay, Heidi, how's it going? Yeah, no worries. Park sounds nice. Fall is always so good for the park, you know. This has all been washed, so there's like, I should have cleaned up this edge before I cut my binding. It would have made this a little faster, you know what I mean? And since I'm gonna like roll it up as I go, That always seems like we always kind of vacillated with doing it or not doing it, but it honestly does make everything faster in the end if you wind it as you go. However, I think I just did that one backwards. Yeah. Oh, no. Wait, let's see. Wrong side is showing. Nope, I got it. Okay. Okay. So the right side is facing the inside. Yeah, just like that. All right. Yeah. See, I have my stack here, right? And so then I just flip it up here and sew it. I trim these little corners here, and then I roll. You managed to hook on your wall. Okay. Yeah, so interestingly, I could actually tie it in with my camera holder, you know. I'm pretty sure they do, Libby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. This one was actually the wrong ways. Because my fabric doesn't really have a right or wrong side, I could actually just cheat, you know. But otherwise I would just cut this way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have a stand. And I had put that in my cart a long time ago. I put it in my cart a few times. And then when you told me about the invisible zipper foot sale, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get it. I usually do, Justine. Oh, that's smart, Terry. I like that. Yeah, because I was thinking about that because I was like, ooh, that's a lot of like the demineralizer alone, which I know I need for my area. My water is so high in minerals here. Yeah, Justine, so I think like if you're going to run it through an attachment, I think that you're going to be happier with the less fussiness if you trim these down. And I usually just make sure the seam allowance is, you know, like 1/4 inch or less. If you get it professionally made, the seam allowance comes to you and it's about like between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch wide. It's pretty narrow and it's pressed really good. It's really smooth and flat. I don't usually roll it up like this though. I usually have like a little, put it on a tube and then it's a lot easier. It's just faster to actually cut these. Oops. Oh man, I'm making this look so fiddly, but it's really not that bad. And when everything's done, it's actually faster. Yep, I blame you, Libby. I know, I remember thinking, why is this the thing that's making me do this? But I'm pretty excited about it. There's also a shelf on my wall, against the wall over there, directly across. And I was like, well, you know, I could tie in something that goes from the shelf to the camera stand. And then that would be really sturdy, you know. So this one doesn't even have a, I'm going to get rid of this like crease too. Just make it easy for yourself. This looks like it's close to the selvage right here. It's always the prep that takes the longest, right? You know? This is a lot of binding too. I was a little nervous about running out though, so that's why. I was like, I'm just going to cut up a 1/2 yard. That way I don't have to worry about it. Right in the middle of making my last pair of sports shorts, or the only pair I've made so far, I did run out because I only cut what is asked for in the pattern. Oh, this is bugging me right here. I only cut what was asked for in the pattern, but then I accidentally bound the pockets, which is nice, you know, like don't get me wrong, I actually like it, and I think it actually gives some body to the shorts, you know, by doing that. But, you know, if you're close on fabric, you may not have enough of that. So a good L bracket. Yeah, maybe for Terry, because hers is on the wall. The funny thing about my setup, and there is actually a tour of my studio on my YouTube channel. Everything I do has to be in the center of the room, which is kind of strange. And that's because I need everything to surround my computer and cameras. Because I'm not filming on like a DSLR camera. Some people do. I know a lot of YouTubers do that, but I don't because I'm live streaming. It's a little different. And so I have to surround, like, so my computer's like a little island, you know? And the camcorders really can't be too far away from the computer. I learned from Sew to Fit, from Andrea. She's another live streaming sewer on YouTube. She told me about these cables that can go to my cameras to make them that I can be farther away, which is great. Unfortunately, the cord is super long though, and it's just like in this pile by my computer. But a lot of those, like, oh, make your USB cord longer. You can't do that for video. It just doesn't work. You'll get lost. So thankfully she told me about those. But it doesn't change the fact that my computer is an island. And so that is also how my iron is. It's in the middle of the room. So that means that everything I do, I have 2 plugs for. 2. Which is a problem, especially with the iron, because that's a heating element. So this time I'm going to have to shift where I plug the iron. And I know that iron is not going to play nice because right now my iron and my computer are in the same wall outlet. And that means one can trigger the other, meaning the iron triggers the computer sometimes, even though I have it in a really nice surge protector. So yeah. I would love to be able to mount it on the wall. I think that would be the easiest, and also keep it out of the way because it would be like against the wall. But yeah. Oh, that's great, Terry. Hey Aisha, how's it going? Why are all of these the opposite? It's because I cut a ½ yard of fabric. I know that sounds funny, but just cut so much binding. I know when it happens, and it's because when the fabric gets folded, at one point the angles flip when you use a ½ yard rather than a full yard. I used to cut full yards only. Well, actually not full yards. I would cut a 44-inch length or whatever the width of the fabric was so I could have a perfect square. That would get the most. That was the most efficient way to get the most binding. All right. We're getting down there, I promise. A few more. I was going to do most of this before you had joined, sorry. Touchdown! I always throw the breaker bot. Yeah, right, Jessica, exactly. Yeah, I've definitely done that, and it's been really odd moments because sometimes the iron was just on and I wasn't using it. Like I had used it, but a lot of people have been here long enough. When I had my last office, the power kept flickering when I was streaming. It was awful. And then I kept telling my landlord, oh no, everything's fine. And then finally we figured out that there was a rat in the attic chewing on cords. So then I had to wait for like electricity to get fixed. And you just never know. You know? All right. Gosh, I'm having to trim all these. These are all flipped. When you get a really good batch cut and you don't have to do that. It's so nice. I used to do this for Rayanne. She could do it, but I could tell she'd just be like, I'm just going to steam it together. And she'd just throw it in like a box. All the binding would just be in a box and she'd just draw out of the box, you know. But I would sometimes do this. After she went home, I would take her whole box and I would roll it up for her, steam it and roll it together. And she'd be like, oh, thanks. It's just sometimes you just don't like doing the task even if you know. Yeah, ew, exactly. Hey, Randa, how's it going? Yeah, speaking of rats, Noodle, I mean, we're really happy he's a hunter because we do have a lot of gophers. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. He brought in the most gigantic, like, gopher creature, rodent, the other day. Brought it into the house. So I haven't had a cat since, like, 4 cats ago that does that, like, brings their you know, their bounty into the house, but he does. I changed to a size 14 needle. Oh, this is why I hate size 14 needles. They're so hard to thread. And then later in the same day, like a couple hours later, upstairs, a bird flew into our bedroom. So we have one of those like mesh screens, like a you know, not a screen door, because it's just an opening door, and there's no screen door on it, so we got the mesh that velcros around the edge just to keep bugs out and stuff. And that bird, this little nuthatch, just punched right through it, like through didn't like ruin the mesh or anything like that, just punched through where it joins at the magnets. And my cat, my old cat that kind of lives in the bedroom, he had the most exciting, you know, morning ever. And it was almost like he was like, oh, that's right, there's this whole world. Hey, Louise, how's it going? Welcome. It was pretty cute. I got the nuthatch out. This is the funny thing, like when you're not home, so much happens at your house than you realize, you know? You don't realize until you're home for a day all the shenanigans happening at your house that you don't know about. Like if we hadn't been there, when we got home, our cat would have eaten a gopher in the house and potentially there would have been a bird in our bedroom, you know? Or in my cat's stomach, you know? This little piece of binding here is a little funky. So we will just sew this one kind of up here. All right, last couple pieces, guys, and then we can start binding and stuff. You put it, yeah, yes, that my cat, like a few cats ago, he used to bring in these little pocket gophers, and I would be sleeping, and he would bring it to my side of the bed, and I got so good at knowing the sound, you know. Oh, yeah, Libby, exactly. So if you got the stand, you don't feel like that would make you feel that way, Libby? You know? This is a lot of binding. Okay. We will just put it on my little binding holder over there. All right, so I'm going to use French seams and binding today. And so let me show you, just in case you just joined, I'm going to show you my thumbnail for today. So I am making a pajama shirt that I drafted. And it has a little faux wrap at the front. And then the picture's a little different because we put a petal sleeve on it. And a petal side, a curved side seam. They wanted me to do all kinds of stuff, right? And then I'm also making the sport shorts by Friday Pattern Company. And all I did to that pattern was lengthened it. But I am sewing them different than the pattern. And I have a video about it, but I'm going to be doing the same thing today. So I'm going to show you my thumbnail. So that's what I'm making today. So I'm going to start with the shirt. And what I'm going to do is get a bunch of stuff ready to bind. So we're just going to go back and forth. So this is the petal sleeve, and this is how it works. So it's going to overlap like this. like that, and it's going to have binding. So we're going to do the underarm seam first, and then we're going to bind that hem edge, and then we can finish it, and then it'll be able to be sewed to the body. So if you're considering rearranging your space again, this fabric's a little wet because remember I told you, I think like after I pre-washed my fabric and I brought it to work, I think I dripped coffee or tea on the fabric, unfortunately. And I didn't notice it. Oh, this piece is very wrinkly. See it right there? Can you see it? It's very faint. Yeah, I mean, I just got one, so now I'm kind of forced with like, okay, I need to like figure out what I'm going to do. So these pieces are a little damp, which makes them kind of clingy. So let's do the underarm seam of this sleeve. And I'm also going to do the shoulder seams of the bodice. Here's the front. So the front looks like this right here. And then here's my little faux wrap piece that's going to go right there. You can see there's the V-neck. There's pins in this. Oh, let's sew my darts. Let's sew my darts, so I don't lose my pins. You know what I mean, jelly beans? Let's do this dart real quick. Always do your darts first. Get them out of the way. I launched another skill building session yesterday on matching prints and patterns. Oh, my bobbin and my upper thread don't really match. Hey Alex, how's it going? Hey Marilyn, welcome. Petal sleeve have any sleeve cap ease? Yes, it does, just because I know that sleeve does have ease. Yeah, right, Terry, I know what you mean. I know. It is. It's so much work, especially when you have heavy machines or industrials. I have a 2-scale schematic of every single thing in my office, and it's worth it. It doesn't even take long to make it. Everything that has a footprint, right? The trash can, the chair, my little rolling cart, the little tiny bookcase, everything. And I even make a little schematic. Oh, that did sew. That didn't look like it sewed. I even make a schematic of the space I need in front of the machine for a chair to move. Like I will go, okay, like this is about, and I make a little template of just this amount right here too. And the same with me standing. And then that way I can really confidently rearrange my studio pretty accurately. I've had too many to not have something like that. And then I just keep the pieces, I label them, and I've used them for years. Hey Ray, how's it going? I don't know. Shim's a big boy. Nello, Nancy. Hey Monica, welcome. I'm seeing lots of new people chatting. I love it. All right, so let's put the shoulder seams together. And see, look, there's more of that. It like dripped all the way through the fabric and I didn't notice it. It's really annoying. Really annoying. That's awesome, Randa, and thanks. You know, I have to admit, I wasn't going to do a PDF for this one this month. And then I just liked having that like kind of print version, and I kind of pulled, why isn't the shoulder seam matching very good? This is the this isn't the tank top, right? The tank top's together. The shoulder seam does not match though. it's kind of strange because we checked it. Remember that? Maybe my cutting skills weren't that great that day. I polled people and they were like, some people really like having just a video. Some people like having, you know, PDF content. I don't know what happened to that the little front. Oh, here it is. It's so tiny. And the thing is, like, I don't repeat the information for the most part. There is stuff to provide context, but I add stuff, you know. And I really enjoyed making this month's PDF. Actually, I could have made it even longer, but I was like, yeah, they're gonna laugh if I make it any longer. All right, let's go to the iron. You like both? Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Martina. Yeah, I don't think Shem has been either. Let me get the chat up on my screen. This lady runs ads. Can you believe it? All right, so this is my underarm. I'm trying not to iron this because of the stain. This is so annoying. So this fabric was given to me by Minerva.com because they have a new line of exclusive fabrics. I'm finally getting around to sewing it. It's linked in the description. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. All right. Let's just iron this a little bit because it got wrinkly when I washed it. Skip ads. Got right up to the selvage there. But that's okay. It's going to be included in the seam. Do you guys remember, did I cut all 4 of these sleeves? Remember when I was like, okay, we got to cut 4 of these. I only found 2 this morning. Okay. Next, we get to use the binding attachment. Woo woo! We are binding nerds, even if you don't want to be. Why is that stain so bad? I thought I avoided it. Remember when I was cutting, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to be able to avoid this. Doesn't look like I avoided it at all there. It'll come out eventually, as long as I don't iron it. Full-X is the best for removing stains. I just love that stuff. Oh yeah, it's pattern and print matching. It's geared for any kind of garment, but it's going to be really helpful also because we're doing a button down, button up so long now that you guys all taught me the difference between button up and button down. I can't believe I never noticed that. All right, so we have 1 sleeve. Oh yeah, Nancy, do you have, this one's for an industrial machine, but they have them for home machines, right? I've never used one on a home machine. You got one big enough to do the waistband? Wait, what does that mean, Terry? What do you mean? You got one big enough to do the waistband. Like, you mean like bind it? Or do you mean something else, like attach elastics? Do you have to make videos? No. You sent him a message. You guys are great. You got his back. No. And if you guys ever see Minerva looking for ambassadors, I highly recommend it because it is the easiest of all the things I've signed up to do. They are very, very kind about their requirements. And my tip is, if you see that they're looking for people, create an account on Minerva.com, make a couple of posts, and as many as you want, as many as you can. And if you can link to any of their products in your post, do it. Even if you didn't buy it from them, that's fine. Because when they put a call out for the ambassadors, a lot of people reply to that post on their site and sign up for their newsletter, so you know when they're looking for them. But I have a feeling that most of them don't create posts or post on Minerva. They just want the ambassadorship and don't realize that having those posts on there gives Minerva an idea of like, you know, how many pictures are you going to take? What are you going to talk about? What do you, what's your emphasis? You can be a home sewist. You do not have to be an influencer or YouTuber or blogger. So you can just be anybody. Oh, folds the waistband. You can just sew it on by placing the top. Terry. That sounds amazing. Do you also cover pattern matching as possible on prints? I do, Martina. However, I don't give an example of that, but I do give a diagram because pattern matching on princess seams is its own, it's not possible for the most part, not the whole princess seam. If you're changing grain lines on your pattern piece, you can't. You just can't. And the thing with pattern matching is that, like, my pet peeve with pattern matching is when people act, it's like this macho post where like you have to match everything, but it's actually not physically possible or mathematically possible to match everything on a garment with every kind of plaid or stripe out there because of the spacing of the plaid and the stripe and the sizes. So I can go into great detail about it. Yeah, oh, okay, Libby. How long ago was that? Would you know when they were picking? He was my old man. I blocked those guys, Nancy. All right, let's do the binding. Oh, I actually want to check my transitions, though. If you're using a binding attachment, it's really good to look at transitions like this. Wait, see, this is my armhole. See right here, like this little edge here. Let's get rid of some of these threads. Rotary knife is a little easier. It's really bugging me, those little stains on there. Good thing they kind of blend in. You want to make this smooth sailing. I'll put my binding attachment in the description too. I'm not an affiliate. I got it from Waywack. It's also linked in the description of the video I did about sewing the sport shorts by Friday Pattern Company, which was like, when did that come out? Like last week? I think that came out last week, so it's not very far to look in my stuff. Oh, I forgot to iron the dart. All right, let's look at this. This is this right here. This one shoulder right here is kind of funky. This is going to go towards the back like that. So we're just going to trim that off, unfortunately. All right, that's all pretty good. Okay, and then the other thing we're going to bind, crazily enough, is the side seam. So let's actually iron a few things real quick. Whenever you sent me that link last spring, oh wow, we finally stopped blocking them from following me because they that's hilarious. Claire Park is the funny post of the most. Yeah, oh exactly. Yeah, I just deactivated my personal account on Instagram, and I think that's where I was following Clara Parks. I mean, I was following her on my, I'm going to press this towards the front because I know when I sew this to the armhole, it will invariably be pressed to the front. Wait, why is this a single notch and that's a single notch? Is this a double notch right there that didn't get, it might be. This one doesn't even have the notches. Well, what the heck? Okay, let's just press the seam, getting a nice smooth edge there. I've been playing with that new iron. Like, it's not plugged in or anything, but I'm just holding it, and the weight is distributed so interestingly. I'm looking forward to trying it and stuff. Right, Ray? Exactly. The first time I heard about people doing that, I almost had a panic attack. And then one day I was kind of looking through my inbox, and I was like, because my inbox on my email, I have 3 or 4 accounts in my email thing, and you'd be shocked. There's hardly any email in it because I use it as my to-do list. I don't know how anybody does it without doing it that way. You know what I mean? So I use mine as my to-do list, and I remember one day going, I could just delete all this. None of these things would make a difference if I didn't do anything about them. All right, so here's my, we're gonna, let's just iron that little wrinkle out right there. So we're gonna be binding a lot on this puppy. On this puppy. Let's put it on. All right. So here's my little binding attachment. I think I should change my bobbin right now because I'm about to run out. So we're just gonna finish off this bobbin and start winding a new one. Look at that sewing fairy. Take that for proactive sewing behavior. You know? Okay, Nancy. We won't talk about you too much. It got stuck to the lint roller. All right. So I used to have a machine that had a permanently installed binding attachment. Permanently meaning you couldn't just swap it out every time you wanted to sew on it. You would have had it had an integrated like throat plate and a different feed dogs to go with it, and it was permanently on my machine. And it also, this whole mechanism where the binding gets fed in was back here, so it was out of your way, which is kind of nice. I really miss that machine, but there's no reason for me to have it anymore. I really wish I wouldn't have done that. I use this piece of tape to hold the screw on here. But I need to be able to slide this. So I'll bring my camera down just in case you're kind of interested in this. I haven't used this a lot. This is my 3rd project with it. I will say I have bound a lot of stuff. Some people know me as just a person who likes to bind things. And I had a lot of experience with that machine. Like, we had it for years. It was amazing. And it was a same style Juki, but older. So it was a 5550. Right, Ray? I know. You know, she actually has a badge for that, Ray. Have I mentioned that before? Like, she literally has a badge on my YouTube channel for being a high commenter. And I don't see her commenting more than a lot of you. Oh, thanks, Terry. Awesome. I have the 1.5 inch. It says Ray here. It's really tiny. And I have my binding back here. So on an industrial machine, there's this like spool. It looks like a spool holder. It's not a spool holder. It's for when you tilt back the head of your machine, you rest it on this thing back here. So we use it as a holder for elastic and binding. And I have this little, this is actually a yarn ball holder for something else. And there's a whole reason I do that, and it's because you can see these cords right here. If I don't lift my binding up high enough, it will bump into the cords back here, because some of the rolls of binding we would use were really, really huge. I don't have that. I don't really need that anymore, because my binding rolls are homemade. They're small now. They're not heavy, but those really gigantic ones I had, and I would actually try and tell the person who made the binding, please divide it up so it wouldn't be these huge rolls, because it would just bump into those cords, and they don't know that, right? So that's why I put it back there to get it out of my way. So, all right. Ooh, cool, Nancy. All right, and so it's not easy to see my right or wrong side, but this is the right side of my binding, so we're gonna flip this over actually so it draws off that way. And then you just kind of floss this little thing here. There's nothing fancy about that. Straighten it all out. This is the key with this thing, is how it's lined up in here. Get rid of all this fuzz. Every little thing will cause you a problem. You just feed it in here. And then I use my awl to pull it in this little, that's what this slot is for. So this is the one part about this attachment, is it's a little awkward to get it lined up because of the angle. But I shove it in there, and then I kind of floss it back and forth. And you can kind of see, you know, like I kind of even encourage it, right? That's a thread from my needle, right? So I encourage it, and there we go. And then if you are really short on binding, you know, you can kind of encourage this little first bit here and then pull it back, like reclaim this binding here, right? And then you can do a test and just see, okay, how's it looking? So the biggest problem with these, like the problem you might have, is really that the binding will shift around in there like this. And then you will have a raw edge on top and a folded edge on the bottom, or vice versa. So that's really the only thing that can go wrong with these things. And you can't really see it till you're done, because sometimes it's the raw edges on the underside. And then you're like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. So you made so much. Do you have a project for it? What do you use your binding for, Nancy? Oh, you use it for your sandhill sling. Nice. See, I always cut mine 1 3/8 inch wide, but this binding attachment is 1 1/2 inch. And I've used my 1 3/8 inch binding in here, and it is a little fiddlier. And then when I switched, like when I cut binding again, I cut 1 1/2. It was like night and day. It was amazing. All right, so we're going to go around this neckline here. So we're just going to feed it in there nice and flat. And so I position this the whole attachment can slide like this. And so this edge of this fold can get, like right now it's a little too close to the edge of the needle. So I'm going to push it this way and put the fold a little bit further away. And that's actually going to be kind of good because the presser foot I use is split in the front here. Sometimes that little edge will, like if this is the presser foot, right? This little, like, this is the space where the needle is. The binding can kind of like go up and get and fold back on itself. All right, so the other thing you have to watch out for, that looks really good. Oh, look, there's some lint. Is thicknesses, both on your garment and where your binding is seamed together. My old attachment sort of stretched the binding as I sewed it on, and it could be kind of a problem. This one doesn't. This one's actually kind of better. You can kind of see it is a little bit, you know, pulling it a little bit. Oh, I trimmed this shoulder. Ooh. I trimmed this shoulder and it trimmed my back tack off, and now look at it. It's popping out. Dang it. Let me see if I can snug this up a little bit. Put this in here. Put you there and see if I can kind of manage it. Okay, so this is getting hung up on something back there, so it got folded a little bit. Make sure you got to watch it. Once it gets going pretty good though, you don't usually have too many hiccups. We'll see how that is. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, I thought I put this so that the right side was facing. Well, shoot. I need to unpin this. That's a bummer. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna pull this out like this. This, I think I had it flipped over. Let's see. If this is the right side, this should go like this. All right. This attachment's also easier for me to use still a little bit. Like I'm gonna sew this together again. We'll see if I can do it. Hey Terry, how's it going? The finished binding, Marilyn, let's see. This one's 1.5 inch cut and it's double fold. So this is finishing 3/8 of an inch, pretty solidly. Oh, I just dropped my ruler. Okay, let's not get this confused this time. That is how this goes, like that, okay. Like that. Okay, there we go. I had flipped it. Let's see if I can get this back on track. Oh. I don't think I can. I can't. Let's see. What we're going to do is we're going to cut a length of it like this. And then we're going to reverse thread it. This is how you troubleshoot. Let's see if I can reverse thread it. I did it once before. All right, there we go. Got it in there. There we go. I'm not making this thing look great, am I? Promise, we'll get the hang of it. It'll be great. Let's get close to down here. All right. What I loved about my old one is that if you just pushed the binding against the attachment, it would seat it in there and get it folding correctly. And this one's not quite like that. It doesn't really respond to that. It doesn't help that there's this seam right here too. Why are you going to get ready to start drinking? I don't have any seam rippers out. Come on, get in here. It's this one right here. It just won't get in there. And I have this little seam. Come on. Okay, did I get it? This will keep it nice and flat. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Line it back up. because I kind of wrenched on it. I can even back stitch a little. All right, I think we're good. But now I have these seams on my binding I have to watch for. This one does a lot better than my old one did. I used to have to always fix those junctures. Yeah. All right. Looks good. Let's see where that was. See how I was talking about earlier how the binding will get caught in the toe of my foot and bend up. Do you see that right there? That's what I'm talking about, but it'll do it like the whole length. So you got to make sure that doesn't happen. All right. So now, trim this. This edge will get caught like this front right there. I thought about rayon for this, but I didn't have any solids. All right, so now we're going to do the front hem and side seams. And I talked about trying to not do it on one of the side seams here, right? Because I only need like a little bit, just where it's going to overlap like this, right? So I also have, I kind of want to put this on my dress form before I go much further and just see what I think. We need this to be stitched here. What do I have on there? All right, let's overlock this edge right here. The other thing I could do is fold it up like that, but we're going to overlock this edge. All right, let's bind our sleeves. Oh. Oh, Amy, or Kira, thanks for welcoming Amy. I'm not getting alert sounds. I know I can fix that. Let me see that. I want alert sounds. There we go. Hey, there we go. See, I'm not seeing the screen. I don't get the sound. I didn't get the sound though still. All right, let's do this sleeve hem. Now you can probably see why I was thinking about sewing the shorts and the top kind of simultaneously so that I could maximize my binding time. This binding is pretty thick. This is the Kona cotton. It's nice though. All right, let's get make sure we don't bind the armhole. Who, me? I'm so impressed with how well this sews or binds over seams and how it binds through the seams on the binding. Like, I don't even notice it. There's not even a hiccup. Look at that. It's really amazing. It makes me think I should have had our I should have like brought it up to my mechanic about our attachment, and maybe my mechanic could have done something to fix that. You know? Here's my other sleeve. We're doing petal sleeves with binding. rid of some of these little threads. That was my bobbin's done. All right, so now can you see the little petal? It'll look like this. Hopefully it doesn't flip up like that. Cool. All right, let's pin this on my dress form and see what we think. Since I drafted this without making a muslin. Yeah, you're hearing it. I'm not hearing it. I have the sound for you. I just don't have it for me. Hey, Monica. Oh, right. I totally agree with you. It's such a great way to use those fabrics too, because you're probably more apt to want to use up all those scraps because you've made them into binding. Sort of excited about these pajamas. The seam of this binding though is in like the dumbest place. It's like right at the center front. All right, let's, I'm just gonna pin, I promise I'll show you. I just need to get it on my form because it's not completely constructed yet. This is one thing, I adore this dress form. But I still am used to how like a industry dress form is, and you can pin against it because it's got like a cardboard behind it. So the seam allowance on the side seams is still at that 5/8 amount. So I may need to change that. That's why I was thinking, let's just see how it looks on the dress form before I change it. All right. Let's pin this one more. Let's see how it is. And then let's adjust it a little bit. A little bit wrinkly. I like it. It looks pretty good in person. The wrap is very subtle. Boop. Boop. But that looks pretty cute. I wanted it a little loose around the bottom. And then I have my little petal sleeve here. Which will be, you know, I don't know if I can actually show it on here, but we'll see. Yeah, it really doesn't take much fabric for binding. You can get, it's something like, I want to say it's over 50 yards of binding and 1 yard of fabric. What'd you miss? What do you mean, what'd you miss? I'm just trying on the form. She's like, is it done? No, no, no. Look, I have the side seams just overlapped, Libby. I just wanted to see how it's looking before I get much further, you know, because we drafted this. And there's my little petal sleeve. You guys were right. And then I'm going to do that little, doesn't have to be an exact, yeah, exactly. Oh, were you asking about binding? Justine, I must have missed your question. Aisha is helping you, though. Cool. All right. I think I do need to trim down the seam allowance on the side seam so that it doesn't get, you know, huge on me. It's so easy to think sometimes when you're a little bit like, okay, I'm not quite sure how this is going to fit. I'll just leave it a little bigger. And I'm here to tell you, a little bigger is just sometimes as uncomfortable as a little It's too small. You know what I mean? So it's better just to take the time to figure it out. We need like an expression, you know, a moment on the form is forever, I don't know, gonna be awesome. Okay, Ray, see ya. Can I stitch this little neck thing here without taking off the binding attachment? Maybe. We'll see. I need to overlock this little edge though. I don't have to, but I'm going to. Let's take off these pins. I didn't plan on using the overlock at all. I don't technically have to, you know, like I could probably figure out a way to maybe clean finish this. You know, the smart thing to do would have been to pull this around to under here when I got there to the binding part. I've done that once before where I thought about it ahead. Didn't this time though, did I? Yeah, that's exactly, Nancy. We need to replace the saying, you know, the moment on the lips saying with something a little bit kinder and more productive. A moment of fitting. Minutes of fitting, hours of wearing. This doesn't quite look right. That's a stitch. That's a Beatrice, and it was they scan your body using an app on your phone. It's amazing. I just need to get it to rhyme exactly. Check your knit for a better fit. Oh, that's cute. I like that. Okay, now we need a woven. Only one of the 4 hours of days of wear. I like that you guys are down for figuring this out. Okay, so the easy thing about this is if you're not going to use it, you can just swing it out of the way for now, like that, right? That's great, because you don't have to go through the whole thing of threading it and all that. You can just swing it out of the way. Let's see if we can get this. I'm just going to stitch it right in the seam of the binding. I might double stitch it. Days of wear, forgot to delete. Measure twice, cut once. Exactly. Fit once, wear twice. We're really struggling here, aren't we? I meant to secure this tail first, and I didn't. But maybe I will, maybe I'll tuck it in like this, into this little nook here. And I'm going to sew this one more time. I think it would look cuter without sewing it one more time, but I don't want to peek in there and see my serger. And this is great. This is actually my, you know, my wearable muslin for this design. So if I wear this or make this again, These are the things I'm thinking about. Minutes of fitting effort yield years of happy wearing. Yes, exactly. You're not sure what to sew next. Finish the lyric dress today. Nice. So start your coat, but hubby wants me to fix his winter jacket. It sounds like he knows what you're sewing next. Okay, so here we go. We have our front there. So I'm going to trim down this side seam a little bit, because at the time when I drafted this, I wasn't planning on overlocking it. So I'm just gonna trim off 3/8 and then blend it in with this curve. What did I say? We weren't planning on what? Did I just say overlocking it? We weren't planning on binding it and overlapping and stitching it. That's what I meant to say. So I need to take off some seam allowance, otherwise it'll get too big. Ooh boy, I got a little off track there, didn't I? Rayon, am I right? All right, and now let's do this one here. Let's get this dart. I'm about to cut the back stitch off. This is probably triggering a few of you, how inaccurate I'm being. Sorry. Okay. Last one. Then we get to do more binding. Okay, where's this dart? Here we go. I'm just re-sewing the back stitch. All right, now we can bind again. Let's do it. What color would you guys have picked for the binding on this fabric? Would you have gone for more of one of these like I really wanted this color right here. That's the color I wanted, you know. Oh wait, let's see. Fit before you stitch and you'll never want to ditch. I like it. Okay, I like that one. Yeah, I like that. Fit before you stitch and you'll never want to ditch. I just love how corny I can get you guys to be, because I realize how corny I am. Wait, this goes down. I'm like, why does that not want to lay nice? All right, so we have our front. And now the back. So part of me was trying to think of like how much effort I want to put into it. You know, like I don't really need the side seam of the back bound because this is going to cover it up anyway, right? We're looking at, this is the armhole up here, right? And this is the side seam. However, it gets tricky when you just want to stop. You got to like, I'd have to overlock this, then bind it. So I think I'm just going to bind it. This thing does curves pretty nicely. I pre-washed this fabric, both of the binding. If you bind anything, make sure you pre-wash the binding, okay? Like trust me, don't skip that thing. That would be such a thing I'd skip, and I have, and it's not a good result. But I also didn't iron the binding because I wanted it to be as loose as possible when it went on. Okay, so now we have, all we have to do is sew our side seam and put our sleeve on. This is done. Oh man, I didn't slip my, I should have tacked my label there before I bound. Swing this out of the way, and then let's overlap our side here, and we're just gonna sew this lined up right on top, maybe just past. It's gonna be a little thick here. Actually, maybe I'm gonna overlap it one width so that it's a little less thick, and I actually have the seam allowance to do that, so I should. And then it'll be a little easier to do the French seam when I get there. So let's see, how far do I want to go? I'm just going to go like right there. And now I'm going to turn, go across. And I'm going to sew into the garment and sew down this binding so it's nice and flat. That's kind of weird. Something I'll think about if I make this again. All right. So that's how that looks. See that? Nice and smooth in there. Oh, smart Nancy. When I'm here and I plan to use binding, I didn't know I was going to be using it. I will just run it in the sink, like wash it a little bit, and then I iron it dry just to kind of give it the best chance of shrinking. I have so many garments where I'm like, I'm going to be so clever, and I'm going to face the hem with a cute binding, and then the first time it washes, it just does something crazy to the hem, and the hem, you cannot iron it out. Like there's just, it's just not possible. Like it's not possible to do that. So yeah. But this little bit of the dart didn't get caught, so we'll hide it in there. All right, I'm going to start on the garment side this time. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to... Remember how I've talked to you about doing circles? And you got to be careful with doing circles because you will get yourself into a pickle. And you won't know why. You won't figure it out until you're too late. And you're like, why do I have to start and stop again? This is sort of one of those instances. So see this? See this how my dart didn't get quite caught in there? We're going to hide it because the other binding is going to overlap right on top of that. So I'm just going to push it up like this and nestle it in there, and no one will ever know. It's up to you, but you won't tell on me. Pretty sure you won't. I don't know who you're going to tell. If there's sewing police, I would like to have a one-on-one with them. Oh, I should have marked how far down I want to go. Let's see here. Let's see if we can use this one. All right, okay, right. Ooh, ooh, I'm like there. I'm excited about sewing the sport shorts again. Those are a very fun thing to sew. I should just take the binding attachment off, honestly. There's no reason for it to sit here. It's just a screw. Ooh, it's magnetizable. I only paid $2 for the sport short pattern, and I'm feeling guilty about it. Maybe I'll buy it again. I didn't need that pattern, but I was just like, oh, it has a pocket. It's cute. I kind of want to do it. Binding. Binding. You got me with binding. All right, so there we go. There's our side seam. And we got this nice little petal kind of side there. What do you mean? You want sewing parts online, look for a binding attachment. I found a bias binding that I already own. What do you mean adjustable? Oh, would you also be watching store-bought binding? I would, Monica. Yeah, I would, because you don't know if it's been pre-washed, and I seriously doubt it has been. I think that they pre-treat those because they're so stiff. And the thing with binding is that it's on the diagonal. Most binding, especially pre-packaged, it's cut on the 45-degree angle. So that means the grain line, the length grain of the binding is actually like this, right, on the fabric, on the binding, right? But it's being sewn to a garment that it's like this, right? And so what happens is this will shrink in this really weird way, you know, like going at an angle. And when I've used it as a facing on the insides of my garments, like where I've like sew like a flat piece of it and then face the inside, my hems are on the outer fabric. They're all like this. They're all like scrunched. And it's because the binding shrank it. So I'd have to remove it to get rid of that. And now, because they've been washed so many times, like a navy blue dress I have where I did that on there, all those little wrinkles have been like, they have distressing on them now from being laundered so many times with those wrinkles. So, oh, Beverly, that's nice of you. Put the bot bias still in the card into hot water and let it sit till the water is cold. Oh. Adjustable by the width of the binding you're trying. No. From Louise Cutting. Oh, that's interesting. It'd be interesting to compare that and just washing it. I mean, essentially, I'm just washing it in the. I'm just getting it wet and ironing it dry and hoping the ironing is going to help. Nancy, no, you're pretty much locked in. So this one says 1.5 inches right there. That's the cut size of the binding, not the finished width. And they vacillate between those two. You have to find out, like, what are they talking about? Double fold or single fold. And then are they talking about the finished width or the cut width? And when they're talking about cut width, it's helpful, but it doesn't tell you how wide it's going to finish. Because you never know. These binding attachments can vary so much that you could have binding where they only fold a tiny little edge here and a tiny little edge here and then fold it. And this exact same width of binding could give you over a 1/2 inch wide binding, right? Most of them fold equal parts, so you don't have to worry about it. You know, you're safe that way. Okay, wait, we need to do our petal seam here too. Okay, I gotta sneeze though. I'm pretty sure. Okay, this is going to be the front of the sleeve. So we're going to go front over back. You could do whatever you want, but I'm going to do front over back. I think that often you see these, it goes back over front. So when you're looking at the person wearing it, you see the line of binding. What do you guys think? If this were the front of the sleeve, would you like it? Would you like it like this? Like, say this is the front. You're looking at the person from this. Do you think that's cuter? Or do you think this is cuter? Yeah, no problem, Monica. Oh, that is helpful, Terry. There is this, I can't remember who it is. I feel like it's like someone like Singer or Bernina or someone like that. Just, you know how there's that binding maker, bias tape maker, and then you can only find them on eBay. They just redid that little machine, and they you can buy them again, front over back, front on top, like this. Okay. Second I was seeing. Okay, that's like 3 votes. I'm called there. My issue with that thing, it's like if you like that, then go for it, right? But the thing is, when you pre-fold your binding, you don't really have as much option to you know, make mistakes. Dang it. I never pre-fold my binding. I looked at that thing and I was like, ooh, I kind of want that. And then I was like, what the heck would I use it for? Elastic thread. For what, Stephanie? Are you just asking in general? If you're sewing with elastic thread, like say you're doing shearing or elastic, like smocking, elastic thread is, I've only ever used it on the bobbin, not on the top. Yeah, so I don't know, Stephanie. I don't actually know how to do that. I've never tried using bobbin or using elastic thread on top. Yeah. So it takes your cut binding. It doesn't cut it. It takes your flat binding, like my roll over here, and then it puts it through the machine and it comes out double folded for a turtleneck. Yeah, I'm sorry, Stephanie. I've never used thread in the top that's elastic. The only I've used it, I have it right here. I've only ever used it as the bobbin. You have to hand wind it on the bobbin, and I don't have an eye that this would go through. Maybe my size 18. But not all machines are calibrated to use a size 18 needle. Oh, interesting, Barbara. Oh, that's cool, Aisha. Yeah, I just like it. I like doing it without. I'm kind of thinking of just stitching it at the top. Oh, no. I don't think I would like this. Okay, no. What if I stitched it at the top? And then I just like tacked it. I don't want to see stitching line here. Maybe, oh, I could tack it here. Friend has arrived. Nice, Ray. See ya. Enjoy your friend. If you're following a pattern, Stephanie, what do they tell you to do? I think that's what I would just follow the directions, and maybe they have like a blog or something, because I'm sure they've gotten that question before. Yeah, I don't know, Aisha. I've never done that before. I mean, maybe. There are machines that do it, but I've only seen industrial machines that do it. And then it's like a whole thing, you know? Like it's a whole thing. I'm just going to stitch it there. I just don't like this. Watching YouTube. Oh. Well, don't they tell you how to do it in the YouTube video? I mean, I hope so. Unless you're watching one of those videos where they just are showing off machines. I don't think you could get the elastic through the eye of the needle without causing problems with the elastic thread getting stretched in irregular amounts. Because like if you're trying to put something through a hole that's too small, you'd have to pull really hard, and then it would stretch out the elastic, and then sometimes it would snap through a little bit. But maybe there's like a special needle or something that I've never heard of. I don't know. I've not heard of everything. Trust me. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that. Look, there's a little like, whatever. I don't know though. I'm not too keen on this design. Okay, so this one goes like this. This one goes like this. All right. this nice and relaxed. And then just keep sewing here. Let me turn this inside out. Mara Flex. Oh, maybe Martina knows, Stephanie. Fully eyeballing this, aren't I? And then just showing how they do the turtleneck. See it, Justine? A turtleneck. Is it like in the hem or something? Are you sure that it's elastic thread on the top? Maybe it's not. I don't know why you'd need a elastic thread for a turtleneck. The only times I've seen turtlenecks is either made from knit, like they were knit that way. And then the whole turtleneck itself, the neck part is a 1x1 rib that's really finely knit. Although, you know, there's a pattern, sewing patterns out there, and they use like stretchy fabric. Let's see how this feels. I mean, I think. It feels okay. It actually feels comfortable. Okay, I can handle this. It's not hanging quite how I thought it would. All right. Let's try French seaming this, even though it's got the binding. All right, so this is the front, and this is this sleeve here. So we're going to put this one on here. I kind of guess where that overlap is there. I guess you could bind, oh, I need to put some easing stitches in here. I guess you could bind the armhole, but I don't really want it to get bulky and uncomfortable, you know? Is it a cap sleeve? No, not technically. I consider cap sleeves really short sleeves, but I think, like, if you were to look at the definition of a cap sleeve, there's no underarm portion of the cap, so it only sits at the top half of the armhole. And this was more like bicep length rather than being a cap sleeve. Oh, let me get my head on straight here. Okay, Aisha. Aw, your dog's feeling better then. That's so awesome. That is great. I was so worried about her dog. I don't even know you people, and I'm like worried about your people and your pets. I know you well enough. That's true. How do you say your name? Wavika? Wivika? Wivika? Yeah, but woolly nylon thread's usually used on a overlock, but you're right, it does have a lot of give. Was it a regular machine, Stephanie, or was it a serger? All right. Let's see, did I gather this up enough? Well, let's see. Yeah, that looks like it'll be enough. Dang, I saw someone post in their stories a picture of setting in a sleeve, and I'm not joking, there probably was 40 pins in it. And it's like I never say, here, you should watch my video, but I wanted to so bad in that moment. Oh, Veronica in English. Oh, I love that. So it's more like Vivica. Not with the W that we say it, how we say it. This needs to go back here more. I should have spent a little more time on the drafting of this sleeve. I'm not, I'm aware. Brother machine comes with the embroidery and a computer system. Is that in relation to what you're talking about with the elastic thread, Stephanie? Where's my shoulder seam here? This is the back, so we want it to go this way, like this. And this little, let's get this in here. I'm feeling like I should have overlapped my sleeve a little more, you know, my little petal part. There's a lot of ease in this sleeve. I should have remembered because this is my sleeve, and I put the maximum amount in. I put a little more than you usually see in a pattern, because I like a lot of ease in my sleeve. And then let's do the other one, and then we'll trim those and iron and do the other one. Never used it before, but want to know what you think. I have no clue. There's someone here may have that machine. What I would recommend is going and trying it out. Like if you're thinking about buying a machine, I always recommend bringing the fabrics you like to sew a lot with and just bringing them there and getting to sew on it. It's really the only way to know. Not awesome, Monica. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm definitely at a point where most of the time I can draft a pattern and it comes out how I'm intending, but I definitely still have it, you know, things I have to work out and things that don't go right. Eliza, nice to see you. Almost 4 3/4. What? She measured the width of the fat quarter before I washed it. I just took it out of the washer and dryer and measured it again, and it's about 5. What? Are you sure you're measuring the right direction, Nancy? It should be 18 inches along the selvage. Yeah, so, I mean, Monica, I was a designer and a pattern drafter in the garment industry for a long time. And even when I had my own business and line of accessories, I would often, you know, design something and just wouldn't work. I mean, it just, sometimes you just can't anticipate what's going to happen. And that's okay. Like, I've seen really like veteran designers have massive fails, and that's okay. They're not fails. They're really educational. And the last place I owned, like my business, was I designed a line of accessories, and we manufactured them there. And my assistant was always kind of like laughing, because when she would go home, she worked a lot earlier than me. I would always spend the afternoon, sometimes if a design popped in my head, that's when I would do it, because I could really think it through. And she'd come in the morning and see some of the things, and she'd be like, all right, I have to know what was this? And I'd be like, okay, this is my idea. And then, we would look at it, and sometimes I would have this idea and do it, and we'd be like, holy moly, that came out. Like, we really didn't think it would. Or we just thought, this shape might be really weird, and then you do it and you're like, oh, okay. But a lot of times, and I had this bin, and you could see it. I didn't want people to see it, but it was right as you walked in the door. It was under the end of the table. It was out of our way, somewhere we didn't really access. But people would come in, and they would want to go through that bin so badly. There was something about it. I don't know why. To me, it was a hot mess. And it was really funny hearing Rayanne, my assistant, be like, oh, no, don't touch that bin. And those are all her designs that don't make it, or she keeps. And I would keep them, because sometimes I would be like, what if I did this? And I'm like, wait, I feel like I've had this idea before. And I'd go and look, and sure enough, there would be something in there, and I'd be like, all right, maybe now I can work through this problem. So it's just not always, you just never know. Like, you'll get to a point where you're like, oh, I can't finish it. Like, there's no way to like clean finish this. And you just have to ditch it. And it looks like this incredible sample in the bin, and then you literally can't use it. So, Stephanie is full of questions today. Have you ever used why is this thing covering up part of the chat? Oh, this is covering it. Okay. Have you ever used the plastic on the beam of the sleeve as for dress to stand it up? I don't know what that means. Have you ever used the plastic on the beam of the sleeve? Huh? I think that's a typo. All right, let me do this other seam. I'm getting so hot right now. So you have to, forgive me for wearing overalls today, but I totally forgot I owned them, and I was looking for my the shorts I sewed as a prototype to make the Peaks and Valleys pants. I was like, oh, I'm going to wear this shirt today, and where's those pair of shorts? And then when I went to grab them, this is what I grabbed, and I was like, what the heck? I forgot I own these. I'm wearing them today. I love these things. They're so comfortable. Okay, this is the front, that's the back. Okay, I'm just pushing the shoulder. I'm just making sure I'm pushing the shoulder seam correctly. But I feel like more of this sleeve needs to go on the back, and I did not gather that up enough. Come on, get back there, get back there. Like as bones tape. Oh, are you talking about boning? Have I ever used the plastic boning on sleeves for a dress to stand it up? To stand it up. I've used boning before. Is that what you're asking? I have. I don't use it. Like, it's been a while. It's a very specific use, I don't think I've ever used boning on the stream. Like for corset making or strapless dresses. Oh, yeah. They're just like, it's just a part of the process. You have to do that. Like, I've worked in some really amazing design rooms with some really amazing pattern drafters. I worked with some really bad pattern drafters too. And it's really interesting sometimes what will get designed and what doesn't work and what does work. And the worst part is when you're getting like, because, you know, as a designer, you don't get to design what you want to design. You design what marketing and sales and the owner tell you to design. Like, it's not the sexiest job that way. You're not designing what you want to design. You might get to say, hey, I have this idea. I'm easing way too much of the sleeve on the back here. So then sometimes you're having to argue with people, unfortunately, and they think that you're saying, like, you know, you're saying like, well, honestly, this design, we need a different type of entry point into this garment, and because we can't get this to work, that won't work. Well, you haven't even tried to draft it, and you're just like, well, some things we know won't work. You're just saying that because you don't want to make it. You know, you have those kinds of personalities sometimes that you have to deal with, which is never fun. And it's super patronizing and disrespectful to your skills, you know. And sometimes you have to just say, all right, fine, I'll show you why it doesn't work. It doesn't even matter. You could show them and they just don't care. So you're dealing with all kinds of interesting stuff with design, not just the design part, you know. How cold do I get in California? Not very. I live somewhere pretty hot, Martina. I'm going to go over to the iron. You use the boning on knit fabric. That's cool. That stuff's pretty strong for knit fabric. Knit fabric is so fragile, you know? I really didn't give myself some good markings on that sleeve just now. I'm really hoping I didn't just ease all of the ease in the back here. Like that shearling flannel overshirt I made the other day, which I love. It's too hot. I'm trying to wear it every morning and it's just too warm to wear it. I sweat in it. It is one of the Minerva.com new fabrics that they are exclusive to them, Eliza. So they came out with their own little line of fabrics. And this is one of them. Yeah, Libby's response is actually better, Martina. So where I used to live in the northern coast of California. Like if you look at a map of California, right up there against the Oregon border. I used to live there. There, it doesn't get really, it's like 55 to 65 all year round. You're wearing a cardigan, a shirt, and jeans all year round. There are areas of it that get really hot inland from the coast. But for the most part, like when I moved from there to here, in the middle of summer, it was July 31st. I know exactly the date because it was my husband's birthday. It was double the temperature here compared to Humboldt County. So now I live at the base of the Sierra Nevadas, which is like a mountain range here, a really like one of our biggest. And while I'm like up at my office, I'm a little bit at elevation. It's really not much elevation to speak of, but it does snow at my office, and that's pretty novel. Like that's not a very typical thing for most of California. Libby and I are about an hour and a half apart, and she probably will, you know, if she sees snow, it's because of climate change. Like that would be really weird. But she's at the base of the Sierras as well. She's just further down. I'm about 3 hours inland from San Francisco. I grew up in Orange County, next to Disneyland. There, it actually does have, you know, it has a better summer. It gets hot there. Look at the seam allowance on this. This looks totally crazy right now to me. This seam is gonna, this little stitch right here is gonna fall outside of my seam, which really annoys me. But my winters are very mild where I live. I don't really need a heavy jacket. And, you know, I would even say, like, my brother wears shorts year round. He's one of those people. I give him a hard time, you know. Well, I actually don't give him a hard time. But it cracks me up. I've known lots of people like that. If you want to know how to sew a sleeve with a French seam, set in a sleeve with a French seam, I have a video for it and it's really good. I'm just going to say that. This is a very bad example of how I do this. Like, I'm kind of just being a little bit cavalier. Yeah, and if you don't want to use a French seam, you just want to learn how to sew a set-in sleeve, and you're having trouble getting all of that ease on the sleeve, the extra fabric on the sleeve to fit. I have a video for that too. You don't have to do a French seam. They're some of my most viewed videos, so you don't have to sit here and listen to my silly stories and watch me struggle with it here. No, I would say Sacramento, Beverly. The problem with San Francisco is that they have fog. If you fly in Oakland, you have a better chance. If you fly into San Francisco, fog can really change your plans. And in Humboldt County, they only use puddle jumper planes, you know, the little twin props and stuff. And so their airport, frequently the flights get canceled because the airport in Humboldt County was constructed to give the military practice in how to land a plane in fog. And so it was designed to be somewhere foggy. They didn't pick a place that wouldn't be foggy. And that's the airport we were left with. And so our flights get canceled a lot, or theirs do. You here for all the silly stories, Heidi? It's like I'm talking to myself in here, you know. I'm watching chat, trying to iron this sleeve that I kind of put on here kind of badly. Ah, thanks, Eliza. I've been forgetting to do that too. You're sorry you haven't been asking questions. Why are you sorry? You don't have to ask questions. Yeah, it's even warmer where Barbara lives. She's just down a little bit more. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? Caught you in a live again. Woo woo. Yeah. So when I made a little post on Minerva this week just saying, hey, I'm going to be live sewing this in the new Minerva fabric. Because I feel kind of bad that I haven't sewed with this yet. I got it this summer. It does take a while to get my packages from them. When I went to tag the fabric, you could see all the other people who've made things from this using the fabric. And there are some really cute dresses. Like if you want to see, I love seeing one fabric many different ways. And I will say that is one thing Minerva is really good at, because I don't think a lot of people realize that it's a social site as well. But because their social site is built around their products, you can see the fabric you're thinking about many different ways, and that's kind of cool. All right. I don't think I remembered to turn the steam back on that thing when I filled it this morning. 46 morning in Detroit. I think it was 55 here this morning. That's pretty cool for us. Nancy. It's cold and I don't like it. Wah. Oh, your set and sleeve is the book. Oh, that's awesome, Nancy. I think that set-in sleeves are one of the true tests of a sewist. I'm going to try not to stitch through these threads because I want to remove this basting stitch, but that means I'm going to use a slightly different seam allowance. The good news when you're doing a French seam, though, it's a lot easier. It doesn't seem like it will be, but it is. $38, $74. Oh my goodness. The United States is just so huge. All right, where's my gathering stitch? Not you, but here it is. See if I can pull it out. I like removing it. Woo, that came right out. So satisfying. Oh, look at that, all gone. Yep. All right, so there's my sleeve. The thickness right here, it looks like I have tucks, but I won't once it irons. However, I will say this one actually might show some tucks because this seam allowance is so stiff because of the 2 rows of binding right here. And when you push your seam allowance toward the sleeve cap, that's when you can kind of smooth out the little tucks, that like little wrinkles that are caused because your presser foot goes over that little wrinkle, creates a little fold, right? It's not actually a tuck. It's not, you know, the tuck's not in the seam, right? But you can see like my presser foot put a wrinkle in there. And when you have your seam allowance pressed towards the cap, it kind of plumps up that seam and gets rid of your tucks, right? But this one, the seam allowance is probably going to stay pressed to the body because it's so thick, unfortunately. Something else to think about next time. See, that's the kind of thing. That's a perfect example of something you might not think ahead of, but now I will. Like I learned now, oh, I'm double binding the seam here. How do I think I'm going to French seam it? So maybe next time using an overlock would be better, right? Oh, really, Nancy? Oh. And you weren't going to tell me to stop, Kelly? Wow. What kind of friend are you? I hate it when my seam is my little gathering stitch is on the wrong side of my seam. But yeah, this is pretty thick. Rayon is just so malleable. In the guild the other day, I think it might have been Justine that was, maybe it wasn't Justine. Someone was asking about tips for cutting rayon. And I really loved seeing the tips people came up with, you know. My tip is like, rayon is just so malleable, you know, like it really, even if you get your front like asymmetrical, it's most likely it's just not going to show because rayon is just so whooshy, you know what I mean? It's not going to show that. This little, where I started, the seam, you see right here? Can you see that? Wait, let me make it a little darker. See, like right there, that little seam, that's where I started. I have this really bad habit of when I start a seam, I don't start very parallel to the edge. It's so annoying that I do that. we go. You know, so that when I come around and complete the circle, it's like that little starting part's kind of winging off. Let me fix that. Ooh, no, 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 no. We do not pull. Rayon is very unforgiving when it comes to pulling one of its threads, though. Okay, so making sure, making sure that that's secure after pulling out those first few threads. Get rid of my stitch there. Is this done now? I think this is done. Oh, I didn't pull out my gathering stitch over here, and I really need to on this one. Yeah. I agree, Kelly. It actually is a really nice quality rayon. I think they said it was digitally printed, which kind of surprised me because the quality is really nice. Nothing against, oh, look at that. I just pulled it though. Look at, this is why never pull your loose threads at the end of rayon. That's unforgiving right there, you know? That's my bad. I thought I was pulling the thread that was the gathering stitch on the sleeve. Okay. Oh, I thought that was like a rip right there. Let's see how it looks. This is kind of cute. Let's put it on Trixie. This, you guys, this is it's not really looking like a pajama top. It's looking like something I could wear. Needs a good pressing. The binding is flipping up. So maybe once I wash it, I'll see how that binding behaves on the rayon. And maybe next time I would use an actual rayon fabric. But look at it. I like that it kind of makes it swingy. What do you guys think of your design? I only did this part. You guys wanted the petal sleeve and then the overlap hem. But I think it turned out pretty cute. What's over the stains on it? Yes, Eliza. Yes, we were talking about that because I feel like she used the pattern in the Garnet Hill catalog as inspiration. And I love that pattern. But it's for knit. So I was telling people, if you want this kind of look, that kind of fake wrap, that Love Notions has one. Pulling those threads is very satisfying. All right, so next I'm going to be making the Friday Pattern Company sports shorts. And I'm not going to be putting a draw cord on them. And then this is a pair I made recently, and so the main modification I did was I incorporated the waistband into the short, so it doesn't have a contrast waistband. The contrast waistband's really cute though. So, yeah, so, and then I bind it with the binding attachment. So we're going to do those next. Yeah, front over the back looks good, huh? Scared to pull a thread now though. Okay, so the binding is, it's like boardier than the rayon is, but I kind of like how it's making it kind of stay away from the body. Yeah, right, Nancy? Yeah, my chat designed a bag during the beginning of the panini, and it's called the Ideal Bag, and it's a free pattern on my website, and it turned out amazing though. Like personally, I think you guys did a good job. So, okay, so let's we're gonna do the pocket first. Okay. So the instructions don't tell you to bind the perimeter of the pocket, but I'm just going to. Trying to not use my overlock except for the very end when I do the elastic. Now we're going to do the opening. It's kind of new, Eliza. It's kind of new. I just finally got around to using it. Oh, really, Kelly? Yeah, I mean, it was the beginning of the panini, so that makes sense. That totally makes sense. I mean, that's why we needed a distraction. And I just thought, well, let's just do a really involved project, you know? $18 of pure enjoyment. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I'll link it in the description later. All right, this is the pocket opening. The first project we used this on was that coat for Hearts Fabric. And I definitely probably shouldn't have experimented on their project, you know. We figured it out. Like at first we were kind of like, huh, but we figured it out. Now, I'm curious, Nancy. There's so many different kinds of binding attachments. If you're someone that has an industrial machine and you do want to set up your machine with a permanent binding attachment, you can get one of those too. There's many configurations, but they're only like $35, you know. So that was a definite like affordable thing to have. All right, so here's my fronts. The little pin is where the front gets overlapped on top of the back. And then here's my pockets. And now we're going to stitch the pocket to the short. And then we're also going to do the inseam. These are going to go together really fast, you guys. Just going to warn you, unless something goes wrong. There are a lot of good, you know, you say that, but there's so many for home machines, you know, so, I mean, God, there's a whole book just for Bernina feet, you know. All right, that you go with that one and you go with this one. All right, so we're just gonna line up. You all saw me notch this where it goes. Let's actually iron it this time. I kind of want to see if this binding reacts better when it's ironed. You see how this is like curling a little bit? Let's kind of beat it into submission a little bit before we immortalize it, you know? Oh yeah, the steam is off. There we go. Here's the pocket. What makes an industrial, I mean, I think it is that shank, but the shank that you just talked about. I know they're not interchangeable, though. There's so much more to it than that. Let's stretch this out a little bit so it lays nice and flat when we lay it on here. I notched that. Did I only notch the pattern and not the cut pieces? Shame on me. So we did the City Gym shorts, which is a really similar looking short, but it doesn't have a pocket. And that's also a free pattern by Pearl. Ooh, Pearl Soho, right, guys? Pearl Soho. It comes in kid sizes too, which is kind of nice. But like I said, there's no pocket. That's why I wanted this one. Look at me pinning. It's like spotting Bigfoot. Pearl, yeah, thank you. Do you have any tips for slant pockets to soften the gaping? You know, Maggie, I am so bad. Sometimes you're right that like for this right here, it won't be a problem, and that's because the binding is going to stabilize it. I recommend putting some interfacing in the opening though, and then when you're sewing it, kind of scrunch the fabric together like this. Like make sure that it's not getting stretched out as you're hemming it or, you know, sewing the facing onto it. You're not alone. I get those too. Like I kind of got really cavalier on my tea house dress. That's the one I think of. And that pocket is so stretched out now. I used a linen. Didn't use interfacing. Don't do Saremy. Don't be a Saremy. Okay. I don't have the notch, but you know, technically, you should just be able to line this all up, make sure it's all nice and flat, and we Gucci. But I don't have enough pins over here. I'll hold this. Yeah, hey Corey, how's it going? Yeah, twill tape can do that too. Depends on what you're doing. Like if it's in a seam, sometimes putting those twill tapes, depending on the fabric, will create like an edge, right? Like say it's a seam and you have to turn it to the inside. If you're hemming it though, I think twill tape can help. And yeah, interfacing. I do actually, Marilyn. I lengthened these quite a bit, a little over 3 inches. And when I did that on camera on Thursday. You're going to, if you watch just that part, you'll see that it is a little awkward to do it because of the angle. So this will be a really good example, trial to see how well it does lengthening it. You should be able to though. You just may need to, you know, fiddle around with it a little bit to make sure you don't lose any kind of, not lose, but you don't get any weird fit things. All right, so there's one pocket. And like I said, you don't have to bind the perimeter of the pocket. You can just overlock it. You could turn it under and edge stitch it if you want a really nice clean finish. I have sewn so much binding that I actually really notice the minuscule difference in width on this that I used to always use. I wouldn't believe it if I heard someone say, or heard me say that, but I'm serious. The binding I always used was cut 1/8 of an inch. Look at this. This is not lined up well. Come on, Saremy. The binding I always used for years and years. Oh, there's a tuck. That pin caused me a, this is why I don't use pins. Dang it. I'm going to take it out to this flower here so that I can put my back stitch right there. That's annoying. But the binding I used to cut was always 1 3/8 inch wide. This is 1.5 inch wide. So literally it's a 16th, it's not even a 16th of an inch wider. It's a 32nd wider when it's all finished, and I can tell. I'm kind of surprised by that. They still gape a lot, yeah. Oh, cool, Nancy. Yeah, Kira, exactly. Rip. Because I went through all those layers with the binding, it's actually kind of a stout seam to take out. And I'm using a light gray thread because it kind of is a good camouflage color, you know? This is like a, I don't know, what would you call that? Like seafoam green, you know? Yeah, I should. Thanks, Eliza. Thanks, Professor. Yeah, we don't really want to see that happen again, do we? You can really be motoring along on a project and one little thing brings it to a screeching halt. Why are you saying sorry? We don't apologize here. You had my back. Thank you. I should be saying thank you. All right. Let's get rid of that little thing there. It's going to make this not line up even more, though. Why is that not lining up there? I'm going to take it all out. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to take it all out. I'm going to line it up better. There's no reason why it shouldn't line up. It was me. Like, I didn't place it very well. This is even the one with all the pins, too. It's easier to take out from this side, too. I can see the stitches better, you know? I still keep getting a little bits of that shearling fluff. At first I was like, why is there like quilt batting sitting around? It's not quilt batting. All right, let's get rid of this little stay stitch up here at the top. And then let's let this relax better. Like that. Get that up there. There we go. We'll start from up here this time. Get it to line up better. You can probably contact her. She contacted me recently. So that's kind of cool. Tell you more about it in December. Look at this. Why is this like having a time getting all like lining up? You know what I think it is that the binding it's pulled that edge just enough to where it's not lining up as well without me correcting the binding by pulling it like this, you know, and getting that fabric to lay flatter. Phew, look at that. You can even see. Okay. So now we need to sew our inseams together, right? That's what's next. Inseams. You don't have to drink something alcoholic. You think you must, but you know, we need a pin over here. I didn't mark on the other ones I made where this overlap ends, and this time I want to. And the marking on the pattern, if you notch it, it'll get bound over it, so you won't see it. All right, so this one goes with this one goes with that one, and so we're gonna stop it. We're gonna do a French seam on the inseam. It's 5 somewhere, exactly. one. And let's get this one. Good point, Kira. That's a very Humboldt County thing to say. I actually saw a reference to Humboldt County in a show I watch with Snoop Dogg. Like, it was a show called, it's a show called Mythic Quest. It's really cute and funny. And they got him, they get like this cameo appearance with Snoop Dogg in their video game. It's pretty funny. And he talks about Humboldt. I was like, what the heck? It's got such a bad rap. Or good rap, depending on how you look at it. All right. Let's do this French seam. So this one will only have a French seam on the inseam and on the rise. You don't have to do a French seam though. You could just sew your seam right sides together, and then you're going to bind the hem and the side seam all at once. Nice continuous binding. Kind of like this is like the Petal sleeve. Pants are a lot like sewing two sleeves together. As, isn't it Christian Siriano, or wait, who was it that said that in that one of the very first Project Runways? And I was like, that's such a good point. Let's see how bad this one looks here. This is that one. Can I handle this? It's bugging me. It is bugging me. Is there any seam that you would not do a French seam? Huh, probably. I mean, there's some that I don't enjoy doing as much as others. I'm trying to think. I wouldn't do a center front crotch. I mean, I wouldn't do a crotch on pants. I am going to here, but I wouldn't on jeans. You know what I mean? But I was wrong. Like recently, I was like, wait, like, because I didn't really clue into the fact that a lot of jeans have a flat felled seam for the whole rise or crotch seam. So that's a little different than a French seam though. All right, so now we're gonna do, we could actually do the, ooh, why is this not, why is there no back stitch right here? Did I not back stitch right there? What the heck? Am I out of bobbin? Oh, I am, okay, that's why. Do I need a hem before binding? No, the binding is the hem. I was at the Detroit Marathon race this morning, and they were selling edibles at an athletic event. That is funny. But a lot of them don't have properties that make you feel anything as far as like altering you know, like I don't want to write anything or say anything because I'll get demonetized, right? So I'm just being careful. You know what I mean? So maybe there's other, because there's so many different things they can do with those now, you know. I'll have to set the legs. I'm gonna do the rise right now, because then all I have to do is the binding Make sure I'm doing this not upside down though, you know? Yeah. You are torturing that fabric. I don't remember him saying that, but I can completely hear that in his voice. So the first seasons, you guys, like when I first saw that there was a show devoted to stuff I did, it was so exciting because I wasn't into any of the reality shows there were. I think like the first popular ones were like Big Brother and Survivor, and then the singing one. Survivor was fun occasionally. I could get into that, but I wasn't at the time. So my friends were all, Saremy, there's this new show. I think you'd like it. And so I don't think we had cable at the time. So we got it, and it was so exciting to see that. And they even went to my school for one season. They did the FITM LA campus. That's where I went to school, which was really cool. It was neat. I still couldn't really relate to what they did in those on that show though, because it's just like, if your goal is to be a designer, that's really awesome. But being a designer and being a designer with your own line, that is a completely different thing. So most design jobs, you're working for someone else and you're doing their vision. They may not even know how to sew. Oh, yeah, Kelly, exactly. These scissors could stand to be a little sharper. Okay, is it obvious? The fabric just keeps jumping out of my blades. All right. Let's iron this one. I'm going to move my microphone like this. There we go. Then we get to do all the binding goodness. I'm just making you wait to see the binding, aren't I? So once I do this and I do the binding, we're just going to stitch the side seams down like I did on the shirt. And then I'm going to overlock the elastic and stitch it down. My favorite way to sew an elasticized waist. Oof, I really got a wrinkle in there, didn't I? I do have a dedicated video to that. You do not have to watch me do that here. That is, I think, hands down my most popular video now. Okay. This is really bugging me still. This ran is very susceptible to being ironed, you know? This one's so much more well-behaved over here. I can see the little bit of like, you know, that it's popping up. That's okay. Oh well. So you wrong side. So you sew wrong side, then you put the binding on top of the both sides, right? Right now I'm just doing the center front seam. So this right here is the one that goes between the legs, like from waist to waist, the crotch seam. Then when I do the binding, it's going to be the side seams and the hem. And I'll bind it just like I've been with the others, with the fabric right side up. I'm just trying not to pull the seam since there's so much bias here. And I'm just pulling the under layer so that the seam is right on the edge there. I offset my crotch seam here to minimize the bulk there. I really hope I remember my label on these because I'm not going to put a draw cord on these. And if you want to know how to do that, I do that in the video. But that helps me determine that that's the front or back of my shorts. You know, it's like an extra thing. I can actually pin my label. Oh, I pinned it to the elastic already. All right, so now I'm going to do, let me show you what I got. Can you see my shorts now? Let's see. They're really long. They're really long. So there's the waist. Here's my pocket, right? There's the back. This is the seam I just sewed right here. There's the legs now. Now we're going to bind the side seam and we're going to go all the way around and then back, okay? That's where we're at. Just put the binding. You don't have to have the attachment. You can just bind. It's so hot because you watched at least 25 times. Thank you, Amy. I did pin it to my elastic, Barbara. But yeah, that would be the thing to do, right? I should just sew it to the back. I will once I get the elastic out. I'm going to get rid of some of these threads here and smooth out any of these transitions. Just do it now. You're going to be stuck in your binding attachment if you don't. Boink. Same with this right here. Get rid of this little seam allowance tab. Okay, I think I can manage all of this. And then this one. Where's that other front? Here we go, right here. Get all these threads to the side seam here. Hey Tay, how's it going? Kelly, Rachel got hers the other day and she opened all of them. I would do the same thing. I would open all of it. I need an emote for my life. You know what, Barbara? That's a really good idea. Let me show you y'all my emotes. Okay, so this is my little advertising opportunity since YouTube's telling me it's time to insert an ad. I'm going to do an ad for me. If you like what you see, you can become a member to my channel. And it's the little $ under the chat, I think. It is for me. And when you become a member, it'll say join next to my subscribe button. You get emoji in the chat. I'll put them in the chat. So here is when I'm using my seam ripper, you can put that one in. When I'm on a tangent, like right now, you can put this on. I'm on a tangent. This is love. If I'm doing an experiment, this is the experiment. If I'm using my all, it's my all. If you're lurking and you're not able to chat, you can just do this little cat emote. He's hiding behind some bolts of fabric. And then this is my guild. I'll probably swap the guild out for something. And then let me show you my, this isn't it. That's what I see. Here we go. This is what they look like, big. So you can kind of see what they look like. And I think it's as little as $1.99 a month. I get 70%, just so you know. So the split's not too bad. But anyway, that's my advertisement today. If you want to support me, like what I do, don't want to become a guild member, or you can be a guild member, sosoguild.com. You can check that out. It's free to join that, and there are paid groups. But nothing is cheap as being a member on my YouTube channel. All right, let's go. Let's get these little threads in there. We're just going to immortalize them right into that seam allowance here. What is this right here? Okay. Let's get rid of some of them, though. Some of these are just so much, you know? All right, so here's the pin of where they're supposed to overlap when we sew the side seam together. There you go, Barbara. Your birthday's coming up, Barbara. Happy birthday. Wait, your birthday is February 25th. So, you're a Halloween baby? Like close? So did you always have like Halloween themed birthday things? I'm just noticing all these threads in this center front seam right here. You see that? We're going to trim those because we don't want to pull them. We saw what happened before. And it's just these loose guys, you know, the ones that really should have been trimmed. It's not probably that my seam is really close to it because this is particularly thready. And I trimmed that seam down so much, you know. All right, so this is the front. So we're going to push this inseam to the back. Oh, that juncture is a little bit of a jog right there. Push that there. All right. That was my bobbin. It's done winding, so it snaps. Like butter, man. This thing is amazing. So impressed. All right, let's do the other one. It's next week, all right. Oh, Nancy. Is that a serger's? Fine. Wait, what? Wait. I think it was redubbed that, like, from the beginning, because from the beginning, like last year, they said you don't have to use it to count down to a holiday, you know? They marketed it that way from the beginning. I think that's still considered Advent, though, isn't it? Or is Advent, the term Advent, tied to a Christian holiday like Christmas? It's December 1st somewhere. There you go. Oh, I just got off track. Here, we're just gonna like skip over that and pop this back in here. And we'll go back and fix that. I was looking at chat. Oh man. Let's get my all in there and we'll just get that and we'll fix that later. Wait, oh, so Nancy, we need you to, I need you to do it like you did last year. I loved looking at your Instagram posts. Like, I actually looked for you every day on Instagram. Like, what did Nancy get this month? Because that advent calendar is amazing. You got some really cool stuff. I think Alice & Company does one too. I've been on their site a lot lately because of that thing we signed up for, the behind the seams. Oh, it is Anna. Oh, okay. So maybe I think then Kira, or who said that? Kelly was right, that they must have changed it. Because they always said you could count down to anything. But they were saying Advent. Well, I'm an atheist, I still would open early. Some things are sacred, like counting down. All right. We are done with this attachment, right? Let's move it over. Yeah, I got mine last year on Christmas Day, so you better believe I opened all of it at once. So the instructions say that you can overlap this front over back or back over front. Whoops, but not front over front. Don't do that. That is really cool, Nancy. Oh, Oh, is that what she means, Barbara? Yeah, Stephanie, I'm using my regular machine. What kind of machine? I'm using my regular machine. It's just an attachment. So I just put this attachment on. If you watch the beginning of the video, I talk about it. You can get attachments to do binding for a serger though. And several people here have those. I do not have one of those. They sound really fun though. All right, so I'm just gonna put this, I think again, I'm gonna like nestle it next to itself. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stitch it down twice. So I'm stacking the binding. Okay, stacking the binding. Let's cover that up a little better, like this. And I'm just gonna go down to that pin. Oh, I have to fix that one corner. Okay, that's okay, it's not this one. Right, it's not this one. No, getting rid of some of these threads. So going down to this pin here, right? This is so long. I really made these long. I made them like 3 inches. Can I pull this? Yeah, I can pull it. Okay. Just getting rid of some of these threads and stuff. Okay. Lots of threads. Let's get rid of these pins. I'm going to go across and I'm going to go back up. I'm just going to stitch right in the other stitch line that's already there. Just to make it nice and flat. You know, I don't really want it like being an edge inside. Oh, interesting, Anna. That's interesting. But just tempted. No, thank you, Terry. I'm doing that right now. I had forgotten though after I just sewed that. So here we have one leg. Look how long these things are. The waistband will take up 2 inches at the top too, like that. There we go. I feel like these are looking like the shorts that boxers use. Not boxer shorts, but shorts for boxers. They're so long. I just didn't want to have to sit on the couch and the back of my legs touch the fabric because one of them is kind of scratchy. Where is it, Terry? Oh, here it is, right here. Here it is. See if we can fix this. Oh, maybe this little seam kind of bopped me off. That and me not paying attention. There we go. I'm just gonna fix this little seam here. It's so easy because it's already been like kind of sewn and folded, you know, even if you didn't catch it. It's the easiest kind of binding to fix, you know. Oh yeah, like there's a binding attachment for cover stitch machines, Amy, and then the binding will look like it's a single fold attachment. So the top is the binding is folded and it looks just like this, but there's 2 stitch lines. The underside is a raw edge, and then the like cover stitch, the underside of the cover stitch finishes it off. All right. And then next we're gonna do the fun part. Well, nah, We already did the fun part, but we're going to do the most important part, right? The elastic. I'll put this inside out. Can you guys see okay? I put that camera like up there so long ago. This fabric looks so good on camera. I always try and make a note of fabrics that look good on camera, because then when I'm looking for fabrics like to do samples with for some of the skill building sessions, I remember, like, the other one I think about is when I sewed the very first, I lost my pins. I sometimes look through the fabric. Okay, there I can see where the holes were, you know, right there. Do you ever do that? When I first made the very first laundry basket pattern, that fabric looked so good under the camera, and it was like pinks and gray. I got it at Spoonflower. So not a cheap way to go. Like I couldn't just like order that, but it's good to know like colors that work good in camera, that aren't distracting, that don't do anything weird. And this is one of them. The values of these colors look really good. Okay, so now, ooh, these things look big, right? Ooh, sorry. But really cute. It looks really good on camera. I love it. Like in person, it looks more like a rayon. Like you can see like the rayon texture. Welcome, Carmen. Yeah, they do, Amy. They do make binding attachments for regular machines. I don't know much about them though, unfortunately. Sorry about that. All right, Nancy. Sounds good. Yeah, what Terry said, Amy. I get a drink of water. All right, so now I'm gonna add the elastic. So look, see, I attached my little label there. So let's, so the problem with just putting this on now is that it's actually gonna go like down here. So I'm just gonna, I'll pin that like that, all right? So the advantages of sewing the elastic and serging it directly on, or you can zigzag it. You can even edge stitch it, you really can, or just like top stitch it with a regular machine. Straight stitch is what I mean to say. The reason that it's great is because your elastic's never gonna roll inside of a casing, which is nice. All right, so I'm gonna overlap this. And then I just stitch it so that it's nice and flat like that, right? And then I'm gonna overlock this to this edge here. So I'm gonna make sure that pin is like way far away, right? I always kind of look to, my waist is getting to a size that sometimes the elastic doesn't stretch very much. It will for these, I know it will, but it's just kind of good to kind of be on the lookout for that, you know what I mean? Hey Carmen, how's it going? Oh, that's really funny. Well, I drafted the top that I sewed today, which is actually over my shoulder. We already finished that. And so I do a lot of drafting and sewing. Mostly I sew here, but I will sew like other people's patterns. But I am a trained pattern drafter and I want to do more pattern drafting. So I drafted this pajama top pattern the other day on Thursday, and that's uploaded as well. And then I'm using the Sports Shorts pattern by Friday Pattern Company to make the bottoms. So if you're looking for like the Carolyn pajamas by Closet Core, there is a video on my website for that, or my YouTube channel for that. It's one of my oldest videos though, but it's also one of my most popular live streams. Yeah, Terry, that's all I've ever used is Bernina. Oh, that's not all I've ever used. It's all I've ever loved the most. I should say that. All right, so I'm going to overlock the elastic to the waist. And like I said, if you've never done this before and you would really like a dedicated video, something you can put the subtitles on, change the speed, slow it down, speed it up, whatever you want, with a lot of instruction. I have a video. It's my most popular one. But I will answer whatever you want now. I just won't go into as great a detail. I probably will, knowing me. I'm kind of a chatty person. So we're going to mark the centers, though. I've almost forgot. Here, I'll use this. Let's go back to this camera really quick. So that's awesome, Marilyn. Yeah, no worries, Carmen. I'm not trying to get rid of you. Why is the camera so high up, but it's like so zoomed in? If you win the lottery, you replace all your machines Bernina. I just don't like the idea of buying proprietary fee all the time. Yeah. There's so many machines are so good. Bernina is also kind of a nostalgic thing because that's what my mom owned. Bernina Gang, yeah. And that is the home machine I have. It's a Bernina. It's not very fancy. All right, so I'm going to stack my centers one on top of the other. See, this is my center front. This is my side seam right here. All right, so we're going to stack that. And then that is going to allow me to figure out where the halfway point is between here and here. And I'm just going to, no, I'm not going to do that. I always nip things, which is fine, but sometimes, you know, I'm trying to get out of the habit of it. I'm just going to mark it with this washable marker. Same thing over here. Just because this binding is on the side does not mean that is the halfway point between front and back, right? All right, and then now on the elastic, I'm gonna do the same thing. And so I usually, I could just mark the center of between the marking here. This is a soapstone pencil. You can use, just don't use pens if you're using your serger, please. All right, so I'm going to fold this in half, mark the center over here. I'm going to do both sides just in case I flip it when I get over there. All right, and then now we put our centers on top of each other. Oops, top of each other. Do as I say, not as I did. And then we have this in quarters, right? You can do more if you want. Quarters are enough though. Usually when you're sewing, you just need about a 10 inch. A 10 inches is about how much you want to hold it. And in a factory, they don't allow you to notch things further apart than 12 inches. There's actually a rule. There probably isn't anymore, but there used to be. Because that's as far as a sewist could hold in front of the machine. All right, now let's go over there. Question, do you always match your thread by fabric, not by color? Cotton thread with cotton fabric? Nope, I do not. I match my thread based on the project. So like the jeans that I sew, I use like the thread made for sewing jeans. You know what I mean? Like something strong. I think it's like a poly thread. All right. Okay, so the most important thing, if you're about to click away from me and never see me again, but you're kind of interested in this right here, the most important thing I want you to know is that when you sew this on, do not stretch after you started sewing. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I want to do this inside out. And what I mean by that is when you stretch the elastic, keep it stretched, then sew it. Do not put it under here, start sewing, and pull your elastic, okay? It's really bad for your machine, and it'll break it. All right, so I'm just going to get this going. You can drop your knife if you want. I don't. I like it to trim all the little loose threads, but if makes you nervous, then drop your knife if you can, if you want. Always stop needle down if you can. I was about to say something else. Oh, if you accidentally trim your elastic, don't sweat it. It's going to be okay. So see, I'm going to pull this elastic. I hold behind the machine too. I hold the elastic behind. I stretch the fabric. And now I'm going to sew, and I'm holding it stretched. Right? I need to pause and readjust. So I'm going to pause and readjust. I'm going to put that mark back on the quarter mark there, the side seam, right? Where's the edge? Here it is. And now I'm going to pull and sew again. Get this closer. There we go. And now I'm getting to where I can actually hold the other front. Let me turn these all the way inside out. There we go. So put this one on here. Just like this. And I just hold this like this. Flop that over onto the fabric. Pull and hold behind it, stabilize, now sew. I need to adjust. See, this is my center front, that's the notch right there, so we're going to pull up it there. If you get a little tuck, it's fine. Which machine are you talking about, Terry? Yeah, I've only heard that kind of talk in the home sewing world, Terry. So, they're really picky here. Nothing against you guys. There's a lot of gatekeeping. Which machine are you asking about for the Juki? Because all my machines are Juki. All the ones you see me using are. I'm like trying to ooch that over with my forearm. Did you see me? I'm about to lose my mark there. There we go. Let's get up there. Get in there. This tail. Which sewing machine? Not the serger. This machine right here, this is an industrial. Thanks, Terry. When I saw that on Canva, I was like, oh my God, look, it's a little iron. It's so cute. Yeah, this is an industrial. That's a binding attachment there. What do you guys think of the face cam over here? I look so silly in overalls today. Oh well. They're comfortable. I'm going to put my tail here. A lot of thread is like cotton wrapped poly. I'm not a thread expert. Thread is actually a really complicated thing. What's this I'm using? I'm using... It doesn't even say. Venus. Oh man, I just cannot see. It's so dark. I'm pretty sure this is poly. So I know this kind of sounds funny, but for me, the thread I like is the thread that doesn't like leave a lot of fuzz. And I've had to I've lost a lot of money on thread before because we'll buy it and then it's just too fuzzy. It just doesn't sew as nice, you know. So, oh, okay, that's good to know, Amy. I feel like I'm just struggling to give you guys enough machine, but I don't know why. Who cares what's over there, right? God, Terry, when it's the size 14 needle, I swear it ejects the thread. Or when it knows I'm streaming and it knows I hate threading the machine, you know? Man, all right, so I'm going to tack my label on right now at this center spot right here. The serging is a little messy, you know? What happened? Did I miss? The seam allowance on my labels is pretty small. Jeez, it's a little overkill. Okay, so now we're gonna do the last step. So the most important thing here, same exact thing, always stop needle down, stretch, hold, sew. Do not sew and stretch. Stretch it, hold it, then sew. And then keeping your folding over like kind of like perpendicular to where you're at. So if this seam right here, right, we want to match it to the seam down here, right? And then I also slide up the waistband, right? I cinch it up, make it really snug against the edge of the elastic. It'll give you the nicest looking result. And this is a really wide elastic. I'm using a 2-inch. So it's a little bit much to manage. So same thing now, I'm gonna like find a spot here where I know I can kind of line it right up on top of itself, right? Like this. See how it's all schmumped together like that? We're gonna stretch it. I'm gonna pull this down, right? And then I'm gonna stretch it and sew. I'm gonna rearrange. My machine automatically stops needle down. Yours might too. It might be a setting, and I highly recommend putting it on for all sewing. Stretch, then sew. And I sew about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the overlocking, like kind of down the middle of it. And I like it when it's close to the edge because I don't really, like I don't sew up here, I sew closer to that edge there because I don't really like it to flip up, you know what I mean? Just personal preferences over the year. Oh man, my needle it's not threaded through the little hole above the needle. Triggering. Oh, color you envious. Do you think the marketers care the most? Yeah, it drives me crazy too. Oh, how do you like your Elma cover stitch? Color you envious. Saremy, did you get anywhere of your Burnside bibs? I just cut these. You just have a part 1 video. Okay, I think I wrote in the description what happened. I really just need to make those again because I feel terrible about that video being missing. Were you the one that contacted me about that recently? I felt terrible that I just don't have the video. You know, I had like weird little glitches that happened early on. So a lot of it was just little things I didn't know about. Oh, that right there, I may need to fix that. So like my famous one is the Ash jeans. There was this glitch for like 2 weeks where I would say end stream and it wouldn't end the stream. And so that one, it streamed for 24 hours. But for 22 or 21 of those hours, it was just on my end stream ending screen. Someone said, hey, you're live. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm at home. I looked and I was. So, that, and then with I can't remember what happened with the Burnside bibs, but something happened on that one. The Ash jeans, it still says it's processing the video, even though I've tried to delete it. Okay, where's that spot I thought might be a problem? It looked a little loose. It might be this right here. See that? It's a little loose. Cute. All right, so you can tell on these, I added buttonholes right here at the center front. And I just used the one marked on the pattern. And then I stitched in the casing above and below there to create the casing. I love the way this looks. It looks so professional, doesn't it? Like even I'm like, ooh, this looks so professional. Threading the draw cord in there, that was a pain in the butt. So, did you spell my name wrong? Oh, I don't know. I don't care if you did. You don't get to my age and care. Oh, the second A is supposed to be an E. That's all. Used to be bloomers for a dress, a girl, and I love learning to do what you're doing. Oh, yeah, good. How many dresses are you up to for that? You have an L62, the knee lift alone is worth the extra. Yeah, right, Libby? Knee lifts. Oh, that's so cool, Monica. That's really cool. There's a live chat in the guild, and everyone's been talking about their old machines lately, and it just makes me really want to get one. Like, I want one that does a good buttonhole. I would let go of my Bernina if I get one with a good buttonhole. The knee lift is so great. Oh, nice. Oh, you did? You posted a photo? I can't wait to see them. My elastic's 2 inches, Eliza. No, not me. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, and I modified that pattern. That's, you know, baby Saremy streamer, right? So now I modify things, but I feel like I'm a little better about not modifying too much because I feel like it's more helpful for people. 10 dresses. Nice. That's really cool. You throw your knee. Yes, exactly. Thanks, Dasmer. You're printing your pattern out now. Nice. Are you doing the sport shorts? I have a video that is more how-to, not me gabbing along like this. I kind of want to stitch down. What do you guys think? See how this? I'm not putting the draw cord in there, but you see how this has the casing? I mean the 2 rows. It doesn't need it. It's nice and soft looking. Look how long they are. I feel like I need boxing gloves to go with them. This probably won't bug me. It might bug me. I'm on. I just finished the shorts. So would you guys like to see the whole, let's see the whole ensemble here. My little shorts. The top turned out pretty cute. There we go. They look big. Oh, I have my pant form over there. I'm not going to schlep it over. I am really not using that pant form now that we're done with our fitting pants skill building session. Wait, this goes way up here. These are very high-waisted shorts, by the way, if anybody's making these. Very, very high-waisted. Do I look ready for bed? Pocket. Very cute. The fabric is pretty darn cute. 3 yards, and I got the top, the shorts, and I have the other tank top here if we want to sew that together. I know, Kelly, right? They look like basketball shorts. That's what it is. Totally. Yeah, I'm down. I'm pretty into them, yeah. They look so polished. My pajamas game really needs some upping at home. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I make nice pajamas, and then I just always revert to wearing my favorite pants and then any old knit pajama shirt I made. So nothing goes with anything. So I have this tank top. What time is it? It's only 2. I could make this too. I'm kind of thinking that you don't really need me to make this, and I'm also thinking I have a Zoom at 4, I think. I'm not sure. Although no one's been coming to this one, so you never know. But I could just do this with the, like, you know, serger. Or I could just do this off camera. Not the serger, off camera. But I think my plan with this would be do my shoulders. No, do one shoulder, bind that armhole and bind the neckline. Do the other shoulder, bind that armhole, side seams, and bind hem. That would be my order of operations for this, if you're interested in that kind of thing. If you wanted to be able to use binding and still not have to do a whole lot of back and forth, that would be what I would do. And when you do V-necks, it's kind of hard when you're binding V-necks. You can do it, and then when you're done, fold it in half at the V here, like this, and then stitch a little like angle there, and you'll create your V back. You'll give it back, because that'll soften it. So, thanks, Donna. Nice to see you, Donna. How are you? How's your remodel? Did your root cellar done? Yeah, right, Terry. Thanks, Lydia. I don't know if I said that yet. Matching undies. Yeah. How would I bind the hem of the tank top? Should we just sew these? I'll just sew it. I'm going to sew it anyway. Let's just sew it. This is how I would do it. Okay, we're going to do the one shoulder first. We'll do them quick. Contraption. I really try and finish all projects all the way after a stream, so I would probably be doing this anyway, you know, after the stream. Now we're going to do the neck and one armhole. Okay, so I'm going to do the neck, and this is as a gentle V. This is going to kind of soften it. God, that seam's going to end up right there, isn't it? There we go. All right. We'll do the one armhole. Press the seam allowance the same way as it's pressed at the neck. All right, now we need to do the other shoulder, and we're going to have to deal with the fact that there is binding going through one edge, right? Like that. This is I'm sewing this very ready to wear. Oh, cool, Donna. I think a lot of people had some sojo issues this summer, especially towards the end of summer. I would look forward to that, Donna. That'll be awesome. Yeah, that'll be good to catch up. All right. So I'm still doing French seams, but I'm not ironing. Very ready to wear, right? I'm going to enclose that. They never do French seams in factories. It's rare. I bet they have an attachment for it or a machine that does it. Okay, and so because of that kind of thickness right there, what's the, this is the back. Okay, I would sew it down like this. Either the whole seam or just inside the binding here. This binding is Kona cotton. It's pretty thick for rayon. Like, a better binding choice for this fabric would have been either a rayon, which, ugh, that would be hard, but you could do it. Or something like a cotton lawn or poplin, you know? So, oops, I need the... I just drafted this as well, Maggie. I just used the same block as the top behind me. But if you have like a shirt that you really like and it has sleeves and you want to just make it sleeveless, you just need to bring up the armhole about a 1/2 inch and bring it in about a 1/2 inch. And then that'll make it ready to be sleeveless. Unless you want like a very open armhole and you're not worried about people seeing inside like undergarments or anything like that. Like sleepwear, you know, we're not as concerned with that. All right, so now we have our 2 armholes and our neck. And we don't need this for a minute. This one is Aisha, but you can get one. It's been a 3-hour binding attachment infomercial. I'm sorry. I just love binding so much, and it's so fun to finally have an attachment I like. I don't make any money from it. All right, so here's that center front. So look, see how the, this is the front neck right here. That's the armhole. This is the center front fold. That's the V. This is how you get the V back in. I'm just going to sew in the binding, and I don't even go all the way to the bottom. And see, this is how it looks on the front, like that. That was a little bit drastic. That'll be okay, though. You could do less. That was a little bit drastic. Maybe I'll take it out. This was a very gentle V, and I just made it a little more pronounced. So let's take it out. See if we can get a little bit more in line with how it looked before I bound it. It's really an infomercial, Monica, for getting an industrial machine. That's where I'm really biased. All right, let's do it a little bit less. Doesn't take much. Let's see if that lays better. Oh yeah, look at that. That lays so much nicer. All right, so now we're gonna do the side seams and then bind the hem, and then it's done. I don't even think this one has a dart in it like my shirt did. I didn't do the curved hem on this one either. I used a different pattern. I actually think I used so this is not the first time I've made pajamas. I've made pajamas lots on the channel. So I've done the Caroline pajamas just straight out the package. And then I did kind of a version of those, but my twist was that I bought fabric from Spoonflower and I got the knit and a woven in the same exact print, so I could have woven pants and a knit top. I just find that to be more comfortable, you know. And then I changed the top a little bit to be more of like a baseball style neckline. So it had the like wide facing and it had like a contrast trim around the facing. And then, and I made one of them, yeah, it was two sets, right? Eventually, one pair of the pants became shorts, I think. Okay, and then I wanted to copy a knit tank top I wear to bed a lot. Whoops. So I did that pattern on the stream as well. And I drafted a tank and a t-shirt. I wear the heck out of those things. That was a good move. I used bamboo fabric or rayon knits, like those kinds of things. Rayon and bamboo knits are like the absolute best, especially for sleeping. Right? Oh my gosh, struggling. All right, we did this, we trimmed this side, right? Yeah, so let's just iron this and then we'll bind it. Your wife's like, wait a minute here. Who is this Saremy person and why is she telling you you need an $800 machine? You're like, no, she's telling me I need the one with electronics. That one's $1,800. I am a bad influence. To be fair, though, y'all are really bad influences on me, too, you know? I mean, I bought that behind the seams thing because of Amy Manorino. I got the gravity feed iron because Libby told me the invisible presser foot was on sale because those go together, right? Yeah, they are. Industrials aren't expensive, but they're not very mobile. Hello, April. How's it going? Nice to see you. Thanks. Do you get the yes? I mean, that's the thing is like, if you really want to use it the way I'm using it, you're gonna want the electronics. Yeah. And you know, I have a whole machine about like, you know, what it takes to have one of these machines and like what it's like, what it can do, what it can't do. And if you want to see the most mansplaining you'll ever see, it's the comments under that video. Oh, let's press this. Let's press this seam out or this like wrinkle out. Look at this thing. Just like casually ignoring it. Yeah, my current machine was $1,800. Before I bought that one, the last time I bought machines, I bought them online. I had them delivered on a pallet, fully assembled, and they were used Jukies, exactly like mine, but used and much older, generations older. And they were like $600 each. And I used them for years, and I still sold them for the same amount I bought them for. When I moved here, that's when I finally let them go. Let's get rid of all these wrinkles so that we can put it on the dress form. This pattern is definitely an experiment because I used my knit tank top pattern for this. All right. Got a little, I think I got a little torquing there, right there. I felt it. I felt it happen. Did you really, Donna? That's so funny. I make no apologies. I do think, though, that if I were to do it again, it kind of did this little hiccup when I left the thickness right there, you know, and went onto the seam. I would look at getting an industrial zigzag, because if you zero out the width on a zigzag, technically that's a straight stitch. So, and I've had an industrial zigzag, and it was such an amazing machine. It was a Bernina Chandler. I don't know anything about it. I just remember that's what it was called. It was my first industrial that I owned. It was very easy to sell. I remember the person being delighted. We're gonna just smooth out this transition here. Don't look at that. The table's included, yes. Don't get it without the table. That's where the motor is. But that Bernina Chandler had it was a zigzag, and you could do straight stitch too. It was kind of cool. Okay, Eliza, are you still here? Is this what you were asking? Crockett. That's funny. Oh, interesting, Kelly. She has a retreat. How exciting. Where's that at? Like, what state are you going to? You don't have to tell us, like, where you're going and what your social security number is, but you know what I mean. All right, I was just looking for okay, so this is the perfect example of why the binding attachment has limitations, because I'm about to do this whole hem, right, in a circle, and it can't do that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this edge here like this. I'm going to leave some unsewn binding there, and I'm just going to thread this in here. I'm going to leave a tail, all right? And now I'm going to, let me see. This one's going to be a little trickier because it's not like my old one was. All right. Let's get it on here a little bit. All right, now we're going to sew. Yeah, so I'll go all the way around. See, this is like people where I had friends that would be like, bind my quilt for me. And I'm like, but I can't bind your quilt. They would still make me do it. Not make me, but I would just be like, fine, I'll do it. But they would have to take apart part of it to get it to sew in a continuous around thing. And the thing is, like, this is not an ideal attachment for quilts, so don't buy it for that. Like, if you do a lot of quilts and you're thinking it's going to save you, it's not very wide, you know, so, and I use it on my quilts, and it comes off eventually, because it's just the thickness of going around a quilt makes the binding too narrow to go around, so it ends up barely grabbing the edge, you know. Oh yeah, she's in Indiana, that's right. And that's where you're going. Exactly, Terry. The other Terry is, she is definitely, was a collector for a while. Oh, only 5 hours. Nice. And so what are you going to do with the retreat? Like, is there anything, like, is it, oh, I barely caught that. Is it educational? Or is it just like hanging out and sewing? About a 5-hour drive. This will be your first, but it sold out so fast. She's doing a second couple. Wow. Yeah, it had to be much wider. All right. So here we are. I'm at the beginning, and I'm just going to clip it and cut it here. So it's not like it's unusable for this, but we couldn't do this in production, you know? So I'm just going to trim this close here. And then now I have to fiddle with this binding here and get it to, let's see, let's cut it like right here. Terry. She's a collector in her heart. Yeah, that's what I want to know too, Libby. I feel like most of those, you know, there's usually like an educational component and there's like instructors that'll be there, you know, stuff like that. So now I'm just straightening this little fold. Oh, thanks for welcoming me, Carrie, you're the welcoming committee. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Dagmart. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so she's going to do a button-up shirt. And do you guys use a particular pattern? You're staying in a hotel? Can I be nosy? Am I being nosy? There's probably a lot better ways to do this, Eliza, but this is how I'm doing it. You could take it apart a little bit, sew it right sides together and seam it like you normally would. But that's how I'm going to do that. It wasn't great. I missed it right here, unfortunately. Let's see if I can pull this over into that seam. I used to be pretty good at doing this, and I don't think this is how I did it. I don't remember. All right, the last thing I'm going to do on this, besides take apart some binding and put my label on, is at the side seam, see how it's like really big because of the binding? I'm going to fold it down and top stitch it. Ooh, it's really thick though because of the fold. Actually, I'll fold it the other direction so that I don't have to deal with that little fold. Oh my gosh. That would be really fun. I don't even know how to plan something like that. Not nosy gathering for the rest of us. I think that would be really cool. And so awesome that she sold out, you know. I'd be so nervous that it'd be like, you know, one person. I'd be like, apparently not though. All right, here we go. Here's my little tank top. That's cute. 4 days fabric. Oh, you get the fabric and notions and pattern. Nice. You can help plan, Aisha, really? Oh. Okay. This isn't actually a bad area to visit because the town is super cute. Not Paradise. Paradise is not cute right now. But I feel like I just trimmed that a little too much. So I'm just going to go over it one more time. But Chico itself is really cute. And I know there are retreat centers. I just think they're like really expensive probably. Oh, the Liesel and Company. Does that come in enough sizes though? All right, I want to take out a few stitches at the center back and put my label in so that I can easily see. Actually, maybe I'll do, I only have a few labels left. I need to buy more. We got to use these advent calendars by, you know, the end of the year. What do we want? What do we want? I'm not a big fan of this one, but it kind of goes with the jammy theme because I do drink coffee in the morning. So let's do that. Oh, that'd be cool. You hate the order of make in that pattern? Oh, like the steps? I just didn't think that their patterns had a lot of sizes. I could be totally wrong about that, though. Yeah, careful. Exactly. I remember what you said when that happened afterwards, Terry. Because poor Terry, she got banned. That's how she became a mod. Accidental ban. And at the end of the stream, she said, I just had such a good day. I gardened today. Something else. And I got to be a mod in my favorite streamer's chat. And I was like, almost cried. That's how you become a mod. Because I was like, you don't have to be. And she's like, no. Okay. We haven't seen Malin this week. I saw her other places, though. All right. He's like, oh, good. I'm glad. Oh, really, Kelly? Now I'm really intrigued, but let's look it up. What's it called? Where's my keyboard? Oh my gosh, my keyboard's on the other side of the room. My iron about to fall off too. I'm curious. I really like, you know, we're about to do a button down sew along. And so it'd be nice to see other, if this is a favorite pattern, you know, maybe someone would like this. She has cute patterns. She lives in Spain now, right? Where are the patterns at? This? That just takes me here again. She doesn't have a menu? The heck? She needs a menu. Oh, it's taking me out of whatever that was. Tops? No burrito. You don't need no stinking burrito. I don't use the burrito method. The fits right max for what? That's it. What's Tomcat's measurements? Because I mean, she's pretty petite in a lot of ways. I thought she was pretty busty though. It's called the Fitzroy. Ooh, this font. Okay, where is it? Here we go. No, it's not the Fitzroy. What'd you say? What's the Pattern Scout? You're doing the Pattern Scout button down. Oh, Pattern Scout's a pattern company. Classic button down and an FBA. Okay, let's see. Her site needs some help. She starts everything with digital breezy blouse sewing pattern, and so you have to, and it's all lowercase and this font. I'm sorry, Liesel, you're adorable, but this is digital classic shirt pattern. Oh, this is Princess Seams. Is this it? Princess Seam? That's a cute shirt. I've seen this shirt because it has the tucks too. Where's the sizing? Here we go. Oh, dang it. Yeah. Bummer. It's such a, I love her patterns, but I just don't want to sew things that other people can't sew right now. you know? Like, I don't think every company has to make sizes for every single size out there. I know that's a super controversial hot take. And if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But there's like the average though there's more, you know, like the average is much higher than this. It's much higher. The 0 is a 32.5-inch bust, which is, I'm pretty sure, pretty big. That 0 might run big. Let's see if the grade rule is 1 inch between sizes. Yeah, so that's not a very big spread. 32.5 to 46 inch is the bust spread. 35 to 40. Yeah, that spread between 0 and 20 is a very narrow amount. Speaking as a person who graded. But it's such a cute pattern. I love her patterns. I loved her Instagram. Like, I've followed her for a long time, since way before I had my stream. I think this stuff's really cute. Have I picked for me, Amy? There's a D cup in the shirt. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think the cut is really cute, Kelly. I love the princess seams. I love those tucks on that other version. I would so make that shirt. I think it's really cute. It's just disappointing because I don't know. I just, I like to make things that cover a few more people than that, you know? That would eliminate fully 75%, I bet, of my viewership. That sizing. And I mean at both ends, by the way. But especially at the top end. Have I picked a pattern for the button-ups, Amy? I'm going to be sewing the Jensen by Wardrobe by Me. And I think what I'm going to do is do 2. So I'm going to do one where I record it, and then you get each module of like a little step, so it's very bite-sized. And then if we do a Zoom together, I'm probably going to make one for me, maybe, because I haven't made myself a button down in quite a while. And I was thinking of, and I use the like Archer. Yeah, I'd probably use the Archer. The camera doesn't fit me quite well in the shoulders. So I think I'd go for Archer. And I've made a lot of changes to the Archer. So yeah. Well, that'll be so fun though, Kelly. How many people are in your retreat? That'll be fun. I'm kind of jealous. That sounds fun to just go and hang out and sew. Okay, so Aisha, if you plan it all, do I just get to show up and just chill and eat and sew? Like, what are we talking here? How do we make this happen? I will bring black licorice for everybody. Everyone's like, not gonna go. You got the Archer? Oh, okay, cool. So someone wanted help on sewing one with a separate placket. Does anyone know of a pattern with a separate placket? Okay, Eliza. 8 to 10. Oh, that sounds like a perfect number. Wow, have a great time. That sounds so nice. And she seems really fun. I don't know her, but she seems really fun. Like, will you guys record a video? What if you're going to be in a video? That'll be cool. I would totally forget to do that. Like the last time I was with my friends and we got together, I asked them ahead of time. I said, hey, do you guys mind? I wanted to interview them about some things. I totally forgot to do it. Like, I totally forgot to do it. You can't plan it all by yourself. Livy's there. She'll eat that black licorice. Oops, let's turn off the machine. I'll help Aisha a little bit. The thing is, I'm such an overachiever. I feel like if I did that, it would be, you know, I'd get deep into it. The archer, the shoulder is not right on the shoulder, but it's not very dropped. The M6044. I'm going to pull that up. I want to help this person sew their separate placket. I can't remember if she was asking about the separate placket. Okay, I've never seen a men's button-up in gingham. That's actually really cute. Huh. That looks really cute. I'm going to put this link in the chat. I should have put the other one in the chat too. Second thoughts? No, flying into Sacramento. I mean, what's Tomcat going to give you? Not black licorice. Oh my goodness. There we go. Aisha, dream team. You and Margaret. There you go. I'm telling you, if you guys were like, we'll plan this for you, Saremy, I would be like, okay, let's do it, you know. I just don't even know where to start. You know. 10 people seems really small. The classic shirt is both a cut on or is, oh, that's cool. Oh, here, I'll put that, oh wait, this is the recital shirt. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. This site needs to be a little bit reorganized. Okay. Here is the classic shirt. I clicked on the picture above classic shirt and it was the recital shirt. That's the one with the tuck, so that's why I was saying that. This has a bust dart. Okay, here, I'll put this one in the chat. This is the one that she's talking about. It's very cute. You need a place to stay and a place to sew. I know. And so that's the thing is like, I mean, it's actually probably possible to do it in Paradise. And Paradise, while it has a beautiful name, is not really the sexiest location. You're in for a class of classes, BJ? What would you want to learn? Small class sizes are the best. Yeah. I think that the sewing place in Chico would let me possibly rent that out. I think. Hotel and conference room. Y'all sound like I'm in a big city. Paradise is like 1,200 people now. But it was a town of 25,000. San Diego's really pretty, Kelly. The floor. I have a 2-bedroom house. There's a lot of fur. I have 5 acres though, but there are rattlesnakes. Pants. Oh. Sewing them or fitting them? Leggings. Oh, just basically like you just want to sew some pants. Okay. Airbnb. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a possibility, especially I think in summer. It's very hot here in summer. But in summer, when all the students are gone, there's probably space, you know what I mean? Like in town, pretty easily. The other thing is doing it somewhere like in the Sacramento area, closer to the big airport, right? And then it would be easy to fly in there. And Sacramento is a big hub, so it's affordable to fly in there. Not with snakes. Oh, that's right. Style Maker has a retreat space, but it's in Washington. Dresses you name anything you teach. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, no, Rouse that. Yeah, I'm a big nope on those too. Don't worry, you guys. We have a deck. You guys just sleep around the house. Oh God, that would be so awkward. I don't know. I mean, Noodle would definitely cuddle up with some of you, but he also might bring you a gopher. Yeah, right, Libby? Don't you think? Sacramento area. Oh, that's interesting, Kelly. Yeah, see, I would think, yeah, like finding the space. Is there a tent that's snake safe? I think any tent would be if you zipped it up. We have turkeys here too. I love them. I haven't seen them all summer. They must have moved around. You can crash at his place. All right, we've talked about this a few times. Ray is missing out on this talk right now. But this sounds actually, like now that you're like, okay, I can picture it. You know, the other place we could do it is Santa Cruz because we have Hearts fabric there. Yeah, there's cacti here. There's poison oak. There's cacti. There's coyotes in my yard at night, like every night. So don't care what we say. I just want to hang out with some people. Do it well. Yeah, right. Santa Cruz would be good, except for flying in there, so because that's not easy. California is a huge state. You are, Ray? Your friend left? Okay. She's like, I want this in Bishop. She's like, this is not sounding like it's in Bishop. Maybe, Amy, but flying in there that's the thing, is like, maybe if we caravanned or something like from an airport, because I could pick a few people up. Like, my place is basically a death trap, Libby. That sounds so melodramatic, but it literally is the most dangerous place I've ever lived. I don't know how that happened. Ray's here is like Beetlejuice. Ray. Yeah. California's pretty amazing. St. Louis was good too. Bishop Hill, thank you. Bishop Hill, Illinois. My goodness. All right, I'll think about it. You rent a van. Yeah, we need a good fabric store and we need a place to have lots of machines and tables. Like, I know my friend Kira, she hosts knitting retreats at this one place in California. Not Asilomar. Asilomar is like a famous convention place. It's really cool too because it's got this kind of feminist legend, history thing. Let me see where she hosts her retreats. Because I think, like, I don't know if it's here, though. I don't know if it's on here. I don't think she's hosting one right now. But, she does one, and it's at a place that's very, very, yeah, Asilomar is actually really good. But don't you have to rent the whole place? Or can you just like do part of it? And you guys, Asilomar is like going, it's like going to like cabin camp. There you go. Yeah, but Sacramento does not have a fabric store. I mean, kind of. They kind of do, but not really. Exactly, Amy. That's true. That's true. But she does all kinds of things. Interesting. All right. All right. We'll keep talking. I'm sure, because there is that one in Washington, like someone said. Washington would be easy to get to because of Seattle. Seattle's really easy. West Coast, best coast. Maybe there's somewhere in Portland. Oh, that reminds me, if any of you are in the Oregon area, I will be in the Portland area. We could do a meetup in November. It's the week of Thanksgiving, though. Yes, fabric adventure safaris. Exactly, Libby. Which we need to do one of those. We really need to do one of those. We need to do some scouting for a retreat, Libby. That's what we need to do. That's what our plan needs to be. All right, I'm going to head out, you guys. It's already almost 3 o'clock. I'm hungry. Okay. Yeah, I might, Amy. I can't remember if they have a work, like a class space there. And, and what their proximity is. Let's see. To planes. You know what I mean? Let's see. Let's see. Hotels, transit. Is that how I do this? I don't even know. You've reached the end of the list. Oof. Where do you stay? How do you get to Santa Cruz? Like, you guys, it's San Jose. Oh, okay, San Jose. Oh, that's kind of doable. Okay, that's kind of doable, I have to say. What is the fabric safari? Eliza's been on a legit safari. I think she's poo-pooing our idea of a fabric safari. Oh, I'm gonna move it to the 18th, Ray. I'm gonna do it the week before. Thanks for asking that. We can meet at Ray's. Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries, Monica. We're just chatting. Head out. Yeah, exactly. San Jose could be pretty good. There's a UC there. Yeah. Absolutely, BJ. My pleasure. We just go, it's just fabric shopping, Eliza. Canada's so far and lonely for sewing groups. Oh, Beverly, who is sometimes in the chat, she's in Canada too. There's a lot of Canadians here, Monica. You're in good company. Vegas. Vegas is honestly not a bad choice because it's a very good location for lots of people to travel to. I don't know about conference space, though. I think it's probably really expensive. But, you know, like the hotel we stay in, you know. I'm not a gambler, so I'm not big on Vegas. But, you know, it's affordable usually. All right, I'm going to head out. Thanks for watching, you guys. This is great. I got my pajamas. This is flipping up. We might have to deal with that. But, you know, once this washes, I'm kind of curious how it's going to wash up, you know. Very cute, though. New York in the house. Everyone's everywhere. I love it. Ontario, okay. Thanks for coming, you guys. It was really fun. Really nice to see you all. Exactly, Ray. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Not here next week, but the following week, I'm making the Mitchell trousers by Closet Core Patterns. Be there or be somewhere else. You can do whatever you want. I'll see you then. Bye.